This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
Kapanen waiting with it, back pedals to the point, Marino with a shot, scores! Evgeny Malkin got a stick on the Marino shot.
The fucking dog shit that we start
This is our
show
opening?
with.
This is the most power that's
Are you actually fucking out of...
Scratch my back with a hacksaw!
Definitely just
Ladies
blew
and
the mic out.
gentlemen, Elvis has just left the
Your
building.
mic is definitely
Big
just
triple
broken.
overtime win for the Pens last night. You know.
We got fucking robbed. The refs robbed us. It was obviously interference given
Yeah, you're
by
right.
the
It was
fucking...
obviously interference.
By by the defenseman of the Penguins. He was literally leaning his shoulder in the back of my man's calf and
man.
putting him into the crease.
Do you think
It's
Conrad has any
bullshit.
idea what
I mean,
a penalty is in
listen,
hockey?
You guys are out of your
You
fucking
couldn't
mind.
score against a third-string goalie who's played 4 games in the last 2 years. You don't deserve to win.
It.
My man Domingue.
You guys are done.
Hey,
Domingue Dynasty, let it
Dynasty is
begin.
starting.
Let it
Get ready
begin.
for Domingue Dynasty.
Wow.
Can't wait. By the way,
embarrassing.
he won't even be playing next game.
It's all right. He did his job.
We don't care.
He'll be playing the next game after
We don't
that.
care who's
1-1.
between the pipes.
Yep.
As long as they keep putting up 70 saves a game. 147 shots the Penguins took
It's a wild
in
shit.
6 periods.
Dang.
147 shots.
Only got 4 through.
Well, only like
all he
half of
needed.
one goal.
Oh, I want to be in on it.
What do you think, Melissa?
That was the best part. Yo, Melissa, like, Landon and I just look at Melissa, and Melissa's like,
I didn't even realize I did that.
There was a good classy eye roll going.
We're only going to talk about the Penguins for
like
like 30, 40 minutes.
whatever.
And
Go
then
talk about
we'll be
whatever
good.
you want. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Mike
We just
Lang,
have to
national
rub it
treasure.
in Conrad's face a little bit.
yo, that shit was
I mean, you only had one game to do it. It's over now.
Yeah, you're right. Home field or home ice
No,
advantage has now been
you guys are
neutralized.
done. You guys aren't winning any more games.
Oh, would
It's
you like
over.
to wager that?
We're
shit.
just gonna wager that the Rangers win, and what odds do I get? Because obviously,
I think
Now
we
you
need a
want
bet.
odds?
well, you
just
have
said-
a game. I'm not gonna fucking gamble stupid here.
guy.
literally just said they
You
weren't going to
haven't
win
yet.
another
You're
game.
going to win a game.
We
You want
have
to bet?
to-
Yeah, give me odds.
Wait, we haven't even it out. You have a game already.
Melissa, who's gonna win? You're good at this.
We
You have
should
to
look
show
at
me
the
photos.
Yeah, we need the team.
Okay,
team
well, we have a
picture.
nice cuddly penguin, and
That's not
their
good.
mascot
I can't
are
base
letters.
it on that.
No,
We
they're
need
not.
team.
It's a representation
I
of
can't
some
base
shit.
it on that.
Actually,
I
their
need
mascot
photo-
is somehow
I need
the Statue of
faces.
Liberty, despite the fact that they're the Rangers.
And
I
it's
need
also like a
faces.
shield.
I can't
They
base
have
it on
multiple
a
mascots.
cuddly
There's
penguin.
no faces. Hockey players just
Cuddly penguin, pussy team. Other one will win.
Penguins are
I'm
like.
sorry. What?
Rangers
Yeah,
win. That's
yep,
what she said.
there you go.
Doesn't matter.
There you go, pussy ass. Team.
Anyway, we'll put you give me 125.
Why would I give you any odds? You just literally said they were going to sweep.
Well, they're gonna win, but I still
don't-
want my odds.
I don't think this bet is settled with money. I think you have to bet something else for the podcast.
Tase.
You have to bet,
Loser
you have to bet
gets
something for the
tased.
podcast.
Oh,
it's not
shit.
money.
Fine.
Loser
Tased?
gets
Hold on,
tased.
hold on, fine.
Would that be
I'll
mono-
shit myself.
If the Penguins
That's okay.
win, I'll get tased.
Oh my
If
god.
the Rangers win, this is my odds. Fuck you both. You both get tased.
No, I'm not in for
All
that.
I'm not doing that.
At low level though.
I'm
Neither
a
one of you?
40-year-old man. I
Low
don't want
level
to get tased.
Pussy, I'll
Oh
get
my
tased.
God.
Come on
God.
now.
All right, Melissa
The
will
amount
take the
of
taste
brisket
for
I
me.
eat,
No.
my heart's ready to give
No,
out any
I
moment.
don't want
worry,
it to
we're the
be.
favorites. We're the
no,
favorites.
No, I don't want it to be because of your fluffy penguins.
They're not
But I'm just
fluffy.
saying, I wanna
Penguins.
like outman you by being like, I'll
Oh
get tased.
shit.
Yeah, so you're stepping in for me. There you
No.
go.
No.
You've outmanned me.
No,
You've
Nope.
made me feel effeminate.
we
I don't
both
wanna
get
do the bet
tased, or
unless
you
it's
pay
you.
me 1K.
Why am I paying you anything? You guys
the
are
deal.
awful at
So what's the bet? Let's
negotiations.
do something quick.
If you back out of being tased, you pay me.
I pay nothing. I pay nothing. First of
Berkey's
all.
getting shook.
You pay 200, I get tased.
Booked.
Deal.
That's it, 200?
That's not. I don't care. It's
Fuck.
free money for me.
It's not that like
Tased
people,
is
It's not
strong.
gonna kill you.
I'm not worried about getting killed. I'm worried about shitting
Wait,
on
what
set.
level on the taser?
There's no levels. It's just strong.
Wait, fuck.
It's not adjustable.
Take that 1,000.
Oh,
right,
man.
book.
Do I get to be the one to tase you?
No. Melissa.
If you want to
I
do
gotta practice.
Melissa
just in
can
case
admit
I'm
her. I
attacked
don't care.
ever.
I don't want to be the one to cause bodily harm.
My stomach hurts.
All right, so it's
Wow.
booked.
Oh no,
stop.
Landon's stomach hurts again.
I'm fine. I can't imagine getting tased. I mean,
Oh no,
I live a good life.
man!
How is
Imagine.
it $200? That's it.
Well, the
here we
Rangers are
are.
going to win every game.
Well, he's
after,
pretty
it's free
confident.
money,
You know
right?
what he's gonna look like?
He's pretty fucking confident.
You know what he's gonna look like?
What?
The dude who tried to bum rush Dave Chappelle last night on
That was
stage.
Yo, that shit
Yo,
was
straight up.
crazy. I woke up to his face, and I was just like,
Yo.
or his arm, I should say.
Yo, Dave Chappelle
His
hired
arm was-
some hood people for bodyguards. Like those are not certified bodyguards. Those are like just guys from his hood.
Those guys are just waiting.
They've
for
been waiting their whole life, bro.
They literally stand on stage every night, look at each other, and go, "I wish a motherfucker would."
You really did? Bro, you think he hired more people after Chris Rock or not?
Yeah. So I think that this is like, it's a reasonable thing to conclude that this is a byproduct of the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At least like some,
absolutely.
it's
It's a
non-zero.
copycat syndrome.
Well, it's like non-zero, right?
Yeah.
Like people feel like they can be the one to
Yeah.
initiate now because they're not the first.
yeah.
Right. So it's like, oh fuck, Will Smith did it. I'm gonna do it.
Bro, the clip was wild.
Also, did you see this guy? He's scrawny. What's
Yo,
he thinking?
yeah,
yo,
he's
Chappelle
tiny.
could
Yo,
have handled his
Chappelle's
own.
strong now.
Yeah.
Bro, I looked at I was like, yo, Chappelle's
You saw him just shake him?
Chappelle's brolic now.
Yeah,
Chappelle
but
was like
he used to be
6'3" to
super
begin with.
skinny.
No,
and now
but he
he's-
used to be like
he used to be
scrawny.
super
Now he's
scrawny,
brolic.
yeah.
Now he's real brolic. I'm
yeah,
just
he's-
like,
he's
what?
kinda
Watch the
jacked.
video, man. He just like shakes this guy.
Yeah.
Like just
I-
gives him a sidestep.
He just
We have a video, right?
Chappelle's the new running back.
The most prolific producers that hip hop has ever presented, the mighty man Lil. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for hip hop history.
Tackler, bro. He can't tackle a damn thing.
Say it again.
Oh, shit.
Preach to him.
Shots fired.
I don't know what you're talking
Dusty
about, man.
ass.
Bro, man,
Pittsburgh.
he can't tackle a damn thing.
His defense is nice. You're out of your mind.
Everything ever since
What it actually
What's
looks
his
like.
Paul Mala.
yes, he left. It's been all downhill from there.
Are you out of your mind? It's incredible how little he knows when he talks.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck sanctioned Conrad getting a microphone?
Only TJ
You.
Watt.
I think he
Only
did.
player on your team.
What a mistake.
Only
the
defensive
commissioner
player
of
on
the
your team.
podcast.
Every single time he speaks, he's just so fundamentally wrong.
What?
Well,
But anyway-
specifically when he's talking about Pittsburgh sports.
Yo, let's go back
Yes.
to this.
Sports in general, NFTs,
Absolutely not. Hold on.
anything
How am I
poker
ever
related.
wrong talking about NFTs? I've never been wrong talking about
Remember
it.
that time that
Never been wrong.
Okay, I have 2 words, real quick. I have 2 words. Visa Metaverse.
I mean, what? I got wrong. Whatever. If you're not in there, you know, everybody's been wrong. Melissa,
And a quote
Melissa,
from the
have
other
you been
day.
wrong before?
Yes, but that's
Okay.
different. I've put in a lot of
I have
volume.
not been rugged yet.
You
Yo,
haven't
who was
played
that
with
guy?
NFTs.
No, but I've played
The
with
quote
other
from
things.
to quote, was it yesterday that he said, "Mama Joe was right. I'm an idiot."
It broke even, but I thought it was going to go up.
Oh, man.
He told me it broke
Listen,
even.
man, you keep firing until you hit.
I don't
like,
really give
you
a
know how many
fuck.
failed businesses these entrepreneurs have until it becomes an Amazon.
That's true.
You know, this is our man right here. Like,
we
let's
tried
back
Visa
him up,
Metaverse,
bro.
didn't work out.
Or you could just buy blue chips. I mean, Bitcoin's
No,
back
you
up to
pussy
4.
too. What the fuck, blue chips? What are you gonna buy? Pepsi?
What's Bitcoin
You
at?
just don't have to deal with his bullshit day in and day out. Every single time he walks in the kitchen, he goes,
Yo,
"Yo,
chips.
All right,
Yeah,
you're right.
Bitcoin and
Crypto, blue
Ethereum.
chips. Yeah, I'm with him.
The second
Bitcoin,
Conrad-
Ethereum, we're good.
The second Conrad walks,
Coca-Cola.
the second Conrad walks in the door and he goes, "Yo, I just know what is about to follow is absolutely false and completely contrived in his head.
Absolutely not.
Like completely.
You have functioned
But what
yourself to
about,
think
Berkey, what
that you
about-
don't even give.
I've been watching the market trends, and
Time
let me
out.
tell you, every Monday,
The Monday thing.
Yes,
is
my
so
Monday
funny.
trend
I
was
can pick the
110%
shitcoin.
right. My Monday trend
One
lasted
day-
for fucking 13
Listen,
weeks.
one day, Berkey, he's gonna be like, I got it. And
Yo,
he's gonna be
that's
like,
enough
no,
for
it only
one.
takes
Yeah,
one.
that's enough. I've been right for a lot of them.
That's what I'm saying.
how can you
One
be
day.
so certain about everything and be goddamn broke?
Because I
Like,
haven't
you
been
should be a
only-
fucking billionaire.
Berkey, it only takes one.
It really only takes one,
time,
yeah.
he's gonna hit. It's just
He did
bullseye.
hit last
This is
summer.
gonna be
That was
see ya.
No, that was a
What do you
point.
mean? He hit big last summer, bro.
Nah, that's not big. You know
that's
what?
not-
You know what
that's
Conrad
not
wants.
fucking nothing.
He wants the Lambo, the Yeezys.
His whole room
already
is
has-
stocked to the ceiling.
Cutie
in
has the
Yeezys.
Yeezys.
No, but he wants the Yeezys.
He has Dior.
nobody
He
wants
has
to look at my-
Yeezy.
He wants
Nobody
the
looks
He
at my-
has it.
No one has
Yeah,
a better.
everybody leave my closet the fuck out of this.
Nobody
all right?
has a better closet than Conrad. You just gotta respect it.
It's incredible. Every single day, this man had a new tip. And every single day, he got poorer and poorer.
He's gonna
I
have
never know.
It's gonna be called Las
I
Vegas
never lost
Conrad.
an NFT.
I don't understand.
I
how that
never
is feasible.
lost an NFT. Other than Visa Metaverse, which was not an NFT, but yes. I never lost an NFT.
We all just got looks, man.
Whatever.
The last sports bet Conrad and I had was when Levy and Bell went to the Jets.
Oh no, I lost this
And he
one.
goes, you see that, baby? We got Lev. I'm like, Lev's a byproduct of the line, man. He's like, nah, he's going to be a stand-up. Yada, yada. I go, no, he's not. He goes, 1,700 yards. I go, I'll take 1,700 yards from scrimmage, period. Catches and rushing.
Whatever. I lost the bet. You
He gets
know, fuck you. I made it with my
It was
heart.
like week 12. He's like, here's your money.
Let him
ain't
live,
happening.
bro. Let him live. One of these days,
like
bro.
week 4, and I was like, here.
One of these days, he's gonna be like, I can buy
But
it.
I will say he has like unlimited hope.
Yeah, the hopium is strong.
It's like
Well,
Never
I
met
did
anyone
some-
with
you know,
such an
I'm not like a
unlimited
downer.
reservoir.
it's
Like
like Good Will
Debbie.
Hunting, where Ben Affleck says to Matt Damon, "One day, I'm gonna look at you. You're gonna be gone with all of your riches. You're just gonna be gone.
Oh,
We're not gonna know where you went." But he's
Did
just
you watch
gone.
that this week?
No.
That's what we all hope for, is one day that like Conrad's just no longer in the house.
I'm
No,
just
he's like,
gone.
I bought the house next door.
Exactly. He's gone, but he's not forgotten.
I won't be too far. You gotta see me next door.
Hey, Berkey, I'm your neighbor.
I'm
Pay the
literally-
cash. You got a mortgage.
That is some shit that would happen too.
You have no
Yeah.
idea. I look at the
They'd
houses
be
on
asking for
Zillow
fucking
all the
sugar.
time by
He'll
the
just
house.
start one-upping
Suckers
every
in their
car break he
mortgages.
gets.
No, the
he
house
gets
is
to
completely
model
empty,
up.
not furnished, but he got the
Oh,
house.
I got the fucking house though.
Yep.
You'll see.
That's nuts, bro.
Oh man.
All right, so this dude got fucked up.
He got fucked up good. He got fucked up good. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the pictures or not, but like it was cringe. You had to like turn away. Like his arm was just contorted in a way that isn't human.
Bro, that's nuts.
I heard that he got his both wrists separated, both arms broken, dislocated shoulder.
Fuck, dude.
Like, what are you thinking, man?
I wonder
What
if
are you
there's
hoping
any.
to-
I wonder if there's any footage of how that happened.
No, of
We
course
know
not.
how it happened, but
No, that
It was that
shit
mob
is
that
in-
swormed him on the stage
Nah,
and
but they-
curb stomped
right.
him.
But they
went
had to take
around
him
the
out the
backstage.
stage.
They're not-
Everybody fucking that chased him got at least 2 or 3 hits on him.
Yeah.
Like that poor guy was demolished.
Why?
When do you think he started regretting his decision?
Did you see that? I mean,
When he started running away.
I mean, he probably went unconscious pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Probably not. He was very conscious here.
Oh yeah. Look at his shoulder.
I fortunately can't see it. I'm gonna
Oh my
stay
god,
out of
it's
this.
going the wrong way.
That is not how your arm is supposed to look.
No, that's not what a normal arm looks like. I mean, like, all right, so obviously this is probably some sort of. The thing is, he wasn't even telling a joke.
bro,
He was introducing someone to stage.
there has to be some. There's all right. There's 2 things. Either A, he did it because he got brave after the Chris Rock shit, or B, there's some history there, and he just like said, "This is my time."
Or he just has like a mental illness or
issue.
something. He might.
That's
have,
option
I mean,
3.
that
Yeah,
could
for
be.
sure.
He just might not be right.
But I
in
don't
mind.
think. I don't know. I think the way he got fucked up, bro. It feels like they might have had some history, bro. Like
don't
that's
know.
a real fuck up right there.
Yeah, but I think like anytime that window of opportunity is open for people who are literally paid.
Why they go to
beat
Dave
someone
Chappelle
down.
though? Like he's the only hood dude that tells jokes. That maybe Kevin Hart. But like, bro, there's like other soft dudes, like what is it, Dave Cook or whatever? Like, go take a shot at Dave Cook. Like, go take a shot at Dave Chappelle. Like, y'all crazy,
You picked the
bro.
wrong Dave, which is what you're saying.
Go run up on Dave
Dane
Cook.
Cook.
Dane. Oh.
It's okay. He doesn't need to be
What's his name?
remembered.
Dane.
Whatever, man. Like I'm not saying, like you know what I mean.
Somebody shit on the coats.
Please don't start doing Dane Cook jokes.
What's going on?
Oh
right
man,
now?
he was legendary back
Is
then.
he trying to be funny?
I don't get it. I don't know what
trying to be
prompts
funny.
this. I don't know what the hell's going through somebody's head. Like, you have to know you're getting a beatdown. This isn't like rushing the field in a baseball game.
Yeah.
Where just a bunch of fat, overweight security guards escort
I mean, it could
you
just
off.
been a huge miscalculation.
I guess.
It happens.
Yeah.
Well, what was the calculation in the first place?
I'm
I'm not
guessing-
going to get my ass beat if I rush the stage.
Actually,
I imagine this was spur of the moment type thing, right? Where he's just in the crowd. He's
He
like, you
didn't
know what I'm
think
going
it
to
through
do?
or-
I'm going to spear tackle this motherfucker.
Yeah.
He missed.
you know
I'm
how
gonna
big
miss.
his security guards probably are? They're
Huh?
probably like 6'9", fucking 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like retired linemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like trying to catch some hands.
He caught more than hands, bro. He caught way more than hands.
Definitely caught boots, for sure.
I don't think people are going to try nothing for a little while.
Nor should they. Speaking of catching boots,
Oh, my God.
let's talk about it, baby.
We're getting to the shits.
Let's talk about it. Some stuff is going down over in Monaco. Our man, Jake the Snake. And
Why is he our man?
he's not our man. It's,
Yeah.
it's said ironically. Jake and Ali Imsirovic both turned away from registration, according to Dietrich Fast over in Monaco. So EPT Monaco is going on right now. Dietrich tweeted this out yesterday, said possibly but not confirmed. I've had it confirmed by a few other people, not worth mentioning their names, I don't think, but it seems as though Jake and Ali, who I'm pretty sure Jake was already banned from Stars, at least temporarily, if not permanently. But it would appear that Ali also is, and this is confirmation of it. This also seems to at least softly confirm that all of the rumors of them being banned from GG for RTA is true, as that's likely the only way that Stars would also ban them, both from their platform and live events. So it's not like it was a soft ban. And the best example of this is Brewer, who openly admits that he's banned from GG for using preflop charts. Basically put out a long statement. Seems like he didn't have anything confiscated and was just like a part of that short list of people that were preemptively banned from GG for, breaking the rules in a much smaller capacity. He is actually at EPT Monaco and is playing. So that kind of corroborates his story that he wasn't using real-time assistance, or at least not in the
way that others were.
Yeah, the more sophisticated sense of, having an AI or a database of solves running, right? He does admit to using preflop charts, but again, that's pretty gray and is kind of a site-to-site type thing. So a lot of news coming out of Monaco. We're able to kind of we're kind of able to extrapolate a lot out of this turning away from their events.
Also, Fedor Cruz was.
Correct. Yeah. Fedor Cruz was also there and turned away. And this is in light of Pads kind of tweeting a few days ago that Fedor was playing a preliminary event, I believe.
Yep.
So this was for the 50K. And I imagine that word got back to the EPT staff, who obviously Fedor Cruz has been banned from Stars since the whole allegation thing came out 18 months ago or so. I think Stars was initially who he was reported to from his roommates. We never caught word as to what happened there, what actions were taken, but we knew that shortly thereafter, GG put out their list of banned accounts, which were all predicated upon RTA. Yeah. And now we're seeing that action carry out into live events, which is fucking massive. It sets a huge precedent. And it also confirms a lot of things that we were kind of speculating in a general case, right? Like, we had heard that Brewer had been banned from GG, and we had heard some other names that had been banned, but we didn't necessarily know why. And we were a lot more confident that Ali, Jake, and Fedor were all banned for RTA purposes. Now, that's very softly confirmed, right? They're now banned from live events as well. Brewer is allowed to play, which also kind of corroborates his story. He's also the only one who came forward and kind of told his side of things.
Do we know if he got in any trouble with PokerStars at all?
Who?
Brewer.
As far as I know, no.
And what about Sergi? Because apparently I just read in the chat that Sergi is playing.
Again, don't think so. I also don't know what their volume was like on Stars.
Yeah.
So Chris specifically started playing online relatively late, like right around pandemic time. So I think the likelihood that he was playing on Stars is incredibly low. From what he posted, he was grinding like 5K sit and goes and stuff like that, or 5K small field high rollers on GG. Stars was not offering the same sort of player pool, and also Stars was a lot stricter on VPN. So I imagine that he probably hasn't and probably never will play on Stars.
Yeah, so I just talked to Chris. Chris has never played a single hand on Stars.
Yeah.
So it can't be banned on Stars.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And as far as Sergi goes, not sure. I imagine he was on Stars.
He final tabled the 100K apparently.
Okay. I imagine he was on Stars. I'm not sure. We know that he was on Party based off of Zumani's text messages that were leaked.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's still on Party, don't know. We don't really have any ways to confirm or deny.
What do you think we see like a fallout from this, like from other sites like Party Poker to be one?
So I know indirectly that those 3 major names are also banned from Party. So they're banned from all major sites, and now they're banned from a major live tour.
Now, do we know does Party hold a lot of live?
Yeah.
Are they going to?
They do Party Poker live events all through Canada, the Dust to Dawn, the Caribbean, but they don't do a lot of high rollers.
They do them in the Bahamas sometimes.
They did one. They did the 10 million guarantee 10K buy-in in 2018. It was at Baha Mar.
Yeah, but they also had like a 25K there, no?
Yeah, it was all the same. It was all the same event,
series,
but they only ran it that one time. COVID then came shortly thereafter, and they haven't ran it since. And now PCA is actually moving to Baha Mar. No, it's 2023 is Baha Mar.
Oh, yeah. I like Baha Mar.
Baha Mar's nice. So much more affordable.
Way better than Atlantis. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I just found out was that Ali, Rock, Castiza, and Jake all played the 100K. And then after the 100K, the ruling that they were banned from all Stars events happened. So they
all
played
3 of them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rock is one of Ollie's horses.
Yeah.
So there's that cascading effect. A lot of what we've already been speaking about where, it seems as though there's this circle around Ollie that is heavily implicated as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot of confirmation, but like this is the difference, right? When people get blackballed online, all we can do is speculate. Because we can look at the day that GG released the names and then we can see the account shut down. And we can start to put 2 and 2 together and say like, okay, they're banned, but we don't necessarily know why. But when that gets correlated now to them getting banned from High Rollers Live, we know exactly what the fuck's going on.
It's kind of some glue to it.
Yeah. They're not banning Chris from a live event because he used a pre-flop chart, because that means nothing in live poker, right?
Well,
and it's very gray.
That was on GG though.
Sure.
So we don't know the crossover. There's probably no crossover there. And if he's never played a hand,
yeah, that's
fair.
I guess like Chris is an outlier example. But I guess my point is there was probably a lot of people on that list. So Dom is a good example. Dom's banned on GG for, we assume, using preflop charts or something to that effect. He still plays on Party and Stars, and he certainly is going to be playing or wouldn't be banned from EPT events, right?
Yeah.
It seems as though they're making a very clear statement by saying like the most egregious actors are absolutely not going to make more money in this game if we have anything to do about it or say about it, right?
Yeah, I'm curious if like Party Poker carries that over, like
right.
to their live events, and then,
right?
Because now if GG is going to be like with this coming out, if GG is really connected with WSOP as like a sponsor, does that fall over it too?
No, because it doesn't carry over to live necessarily. So it could potentially spill over, but we're not sure. Rumors are that Triton is going to act next, and that they'll be banned from the Triton tour next. So we should all keep our eyes out to see if Ali and Jake and Rock and others just stop showing up to Triton events.
Wow. Well, so the Triton's interesting because they don't have an online thing. Like they're not
Correct.
tied to any online. So
Correct. They're just using this. They're using the EPT precedents to say enough's enough. And the accusation of him looking at Paul Fua's cards probably doesn't help.
Do you think that they're asserts more pressure on other sites and live events to do the same thing?
Right. So I think that's the conversation that we're at now. And again, like this is why we're talking about it, right? We want to continue to put pressure on these operators to do good to do right by the good actors in the community. It has to start at the high roller level because that's where they're making the bulk of their income, right? So EPT banning them is massive because EPT is always going to have high rollers at every stop. Yeah. That's a big first step. If Triton then follows suit, that is also like a massive precedence because, as you mentioned, they don't have an online affiliate, right? They're just basically saying like, we are taking a hard stance against cheaters in this community, and we're not going to allow them to play our tour.
I think that's so awesome, honestly. Triton.
Agreed.
Why do we think Triton is going to do something?
It's just what I'm hearing from people that I trust.
Because there's like really nothing tying Triton to anything about this other than him looking over at Paul for his cards. But he's just like,
right. And
I
then
mean,
basically
looking at his cards was definitely not.
Well, it
good
just started
look.
all this. It just was.
It started all of it, and also Paul he's the end boss of that tour. So
but
it's
like Jake has nothing to do with that. So if they ban Jake, it's literally on the precedence that they know that he RTAs and multi accounts.
Yeah, Jake had nothing to do with that. That's true.
But he's going to fall in the snowball effect. It seems that if they use PokerStars list or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So those are two major blows if they actually follow through, because now you've cut out like a third to maybe half of their volume, but they still have Poker Go Tour, which is a lot of high rollers a year.
I mean, if we're talking about trying pulling the trigger on it next, I can't like. Can Poker Go be that far away?
We don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know like what the legality of it all is. But the whole point is that if they're still able to play Poker Go and they're still able to play WSOP live, they're still going to be getting in a fair amount of volume in the high roller tour, right? Okay. So yeah, we want to continue to pressure these specific entities to potentially pull out the rug, because sure, it would be great if WPT sees this and follows suit, but really all you're doing at that point is taking away their livelihood if everything went to shit, right? Because like imagine, honestly, it's almost better if WP doesn't ban them, because like imagine what ends up happening, right? They get banned from all the high rollers across the world, and then suddenly they're just playing like open 3,500 events every like week. They have to travel to fucking Tulsa. Right?
You just want to see.
I don't even think Tulsa has a 3,500.
You get my point.
I know. I'm saying that would be bad, like real.
They're
bad.
like in Thunder Valley in Sacramento. Like they're literally landing in Sacramento with a bunch of fucking cow patties around them, thinking about the good old days when they were flying to Monaco.
Yeah, if you're in Sacramento, we love you, man. Sorry about that.
Well, like,
it's farm country, man. It's like where we grew up. Like same thing in PA. You fucking fly
Sacramento
into
and Pittsburgh are a little different, I think.
Well, no. Pittsburgh isn't farm country. It's Pennsylvania that's farm country.
Okay.
If you fly into Harrisburg or Latrobe or anywhere in the middle of the state, like you're literally in a cow pasture.
It really comes down to Poker Go for these guys, because there's so many high rollers between the Aria 25Ks that run weekly in the summer and also just their Poker Go tour. So it's so much.
They also have the free roll at the end of the year, where like the top 6 on the Poker Go tour play like a 500K free roll, something. So like,
and Ali's up there for sure.
Yeah. He's I think he's number 1 right now.
Yeah.
On the Poker Go tour list.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like ultimately what we want is to create a penalty so great that people stop taking the risk to cheat, right? And hitting them where it hurts is really hitting them at scale. Live poker is online poker is where they build their volume and build their bankroll and build their chops and everything else, but that's not where they get rich, right? The riches come from live. And sure, there's a lot of variance attached to that because you can't put in as much volume, but they're small fields and they're very beatable. Obviously, we've seen these outliers like Ali, Fedor. I'm trying to think like who else went on big runs. Bonomo, Bryn for a short period of time, Dan Smith for a short period of time, David Peters, Coleman, right? Like there's this small group of guys who all had their year to 18 months where they sun ran and built up tens of millions of dollars.
Boxing,
you just can't do that online, right? Like you can make a good living, but it's kind of capped. The ceiling is there.
Right.
Live, however, is just really endless.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like if you get to the point where you've scaled and you can beat those fields and you can come up with the capital,
then you get horses.
Right. Now all of a sudden you branch out and you scale the other way, right? You just repeat the process. So we really want to try to negate that process from being fruitful. And the best way to do that is ensure that at bare minimum, their legs are cut out from underneath them should they ever get caught.
Yeah.
Their ability to earn is just reduced to zero.
Yeah, well, at least their ability themselves, but it's not like the stable is going to go away, or like buying action is going to go away.
No, but now there's a massive threat, right? Like now, so if this Rock ban carries over, right? Maybe he's not banned from GG yet. I don't know. Maybe he is. It doesn't matter. But if he is, that means that he no longer has stars, GG, or very likely party to attribute anything to his win rate from. Yeah. Now, on top of that, he can't travel to EPTs. If Triton follows suit, that's now eliminated. If PokerGo then follows suit. What's left?
Yeah.
He's going to be in Florida grinding out the 3,500 with the rest of us, right? And it's like, that sucks for the 3,500 field because he's going to be a good player, but maybe WPT finally catches on too. And WSOP, they say like enough's enough. Like these guys are blacklisted from all the biggest events in the world. Why on earth are we letting them compete?
I think it looks really bad if, just from an optic standpoint, if the precedent takes place and like it's a snowball effect, and then actors in the industry know that they're blackballed and then don't blackball them. You know what I mean?
Explain your thought. I'm not sure I follow.
Like, let's say they get banned from Stars, and then they get banned from Triton, and then they get banned from other things. I call it PokerGo next, right? If WPT doesn't, it looks bad because then like they're effectively supporting it by not doing anything about it.
Kind of.
I mean, but then I feel like the poker community comes together at that point. And
Well,
says, hey guys, there's one community one tour literally not banning these players.
And then if they all filter into those smaller events, don't the
They're gonna be less
WPT and everyone's,
appealing.
they almost have an obligation to protect their community, the
think-
players, right?
I think that's the hurdle that PokerGo's suffering from right now is that they've used their likeness for so many years for marketing capital that they may be in a situation where like banning them is like a net negative for the company. But there's going to be an outcry if like I don't think this is going away is my point.
No, if we keep talking about it.
Right. Basically, if Ali makes a final table that's televised, like,
right,
what does that look
and
like?
also every time an EPT runs, like we're gonna resurface this story all over again and just be like, hey, don't forget that these four guys are confirmed not able to play high rollers at EPTs because they're cheaters.
Yeah.
And they're confirmed cheaters, and other tours are choosing to do nothing about it, and that's their right. But we should not like forget that they're making a very clear business decision to not act.
Yeah, and that's going to leave a black eye on them for sure.
I think Triton's a snowball effect. I feel like
I agree.
If Triton does ban these players, it's pretty much.
Are you guys
over for them.
surprised?
Because
that
like
this
I feel like
happened?
I feel like everybody just is going to feel so much pressure from somebody that does not have an online affiliation.
Yeah.
To ban these players, and
Yeah.
I think it just goes from there.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Are you guys surprised that this happened?
I'm surprised the way it happened.
That
Like,
they're
I
actually
think-
taking action and doing
I
live
think
ban?
Christian's point is most valid. I'm surprised at the way it happened, not that it happened, right? Because like we assume a tightly run ship where we as the vocal community have no impact on what happens, and so like either there was a blacklist or there wasn't.
Yeah.
And I don't think it slipped through the cracks, right? So what actually, in my opinion, from an optics sense happened is that they played the 100K and enough people were barking that mattered. And they said, look, like it's time to draw a line in the sand. We already know these guys are banned from our online platform. Why the fuck are we letting them compete in a 15-man 100K?
Yeah.
Enough's enough.
Yeah.
And like, that's impressive for us. Like, it's nice to know that like, as a community, our voices are heard and our complaints are actually being considered by people who have power to make some sort of change.
Right. Because when we were talking about it originally, the sentiment was nothing's going to change. Like this will keep happening.
Yeah.
So it's kind of refreshing to see that something is happening.
I was super pessimistic. I truly didn't think that it would get to this point. Like in my mind, either they were already banned from Stars and were never playing EPTs anyway, or Stars was never going to take action that they haven't already taken. So to see a corrective course mid fucking tour, right?
Sick.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. As
After
fast
they
as it
already
happened,
show
right?
up too.
Yeah, I'm surprised too that like no one contacted.
And
No
played
one
the
like
event.
it didn't
Yeah.
get back to them and some like, hey man, like a phone call, like or anything. They let them. They literally just
They
let
let
them
him
go to
show
the
up.
cage and they're like, nah.
Nah,
Yeah.
showers.
That's the best way.
Straight
That's the
showers.
best way to do it.
The
I
best
know.
part of the story too is that they showed up together, like arm in arm, to
my
register
God.
together,
That's fucked up.
like fucking Bertner, and he just like, let's go get our money today. And the cage is just like, no, sorry,
Wow.
No.
you're not welcome here. Goodbye.
That's fucked up.
I think Monaco is the stop too, where you have to fly into somewhere else and then get like helicoptered in.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Like it's its own little island or whatever. So it's like this big, you have to go through like hoops to fucking get there. It's not going to be like just, showing up in LAX and
And you could just leave right away.
deboarding the plane, catching
Yeah.
an Uber, and being at the fucking casino.
I would say Max Payne were there, probably in one of the most beautiful
Yeah,
places.
Monaco's
in the
kinda
fucking
nice.
world.
Yeah, it's like, well,
Not
yeah,
the worst
you're still in
place.
Monaco.
Well, at least they're down 6 figures and the cost of the trip.
That is a little pain.
Yeah, a little bit of pain. A little pain is nice.
So WSOP's is in a month though.
WP's in
So
a
they-
month.
So they
I
need
don't-
to make a decision if they're going to make one. Like it's going to be now.
I hope they make a decision as they're walking in the door.
Yeah. You think do you think they'll announce
Everyone
or
just
say or
starts
let
doing
them
that
know?
instead.
Just walk up
At least
again.
for what it's worth, just real quick, the way that the EPT registration situation went, from what I heard, was just like, we don't want your business. Like, they didn't have to give a reason. They didn't have to say anything. It was just,
Right.
we don't want your business. We don't want you to
Well, they're
register.
a private company,
Beautiful.
And that's
so
it.
Wow.
you can do
So
Yeah,
that.
and that's kind of my
WSOP
point.
can do the same thing, right? If they
I
wanted
would
to.
think so. So like, I don't see any legality issues. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know shit from shit. But I understand like how private businesses generally operate, and I don't think that there's any sort of bias when you're turning away people for.
Oh, I mean, it's probably just like the way they can turn away, card counters at blackjack, right? They say we don't want your business,
Right.
and then you can't play, and then it's the exact same thing. Like we
so
don't want your
that's
business.
the only thing that
you
I'm
can't
not
play.
clear on. Is this a Monaco decision and not a Stars decision, right?
Wow, that can't-
Oh.
Because that would be unfortunate.
Do we know if Fedor
Yeah.
Cruz has played any events? I wonder if Fedor Cruz has played any events in the past year.
This is, I mean,
or is this the first
COVID's
one?
like just lightening up,
Yeah.
right? So this is like the first real big European event that we've seen run,
Yeah.
at least of that stake level. I just wonder if it's like a Casino Monaco policy to like catch wind of this. And I feel like no.
I think it's a Stars.
I
thing.
feel like it has to be a Stars decision, just by the way it went down.
Somebody from Stars Security, please let us know.
But
If you'd like to call in,
But yeah, like it would be very unfortunate if it was just like the casino's choice to say like, sorry, we don't want your business, because
Yeah.
now it doesn't scale the way we thought it would.
Right.
Man, I don't know. Like, that
Right,
means
they
the
just go
casino
to
has
the
be
next
pretty
stop
in
and
tune.
play.
Yeah,
Or something
like
like
I had
that.
heard that like in order for PokerGo to act on some sort of blacklist, they would have to get Aria on board, and I don't understand that at all, because it's like I guess, well, the thing is I just don't know enough about how gaming laws work and things like that, but they run private games. Like I get invited to a PokerGo event, call it a private crypto tournament or Poker After Dark or something of that nature, right? Like that's not open to the public. They get to
Right.
cherry pick.
Right.
I
So
don't
they're
know.
talking about their.
I don't know if that gets cleared through Aria first or not.
So they're talking about their open fields, I guess.
I guess,
They're
yeah.
like PokerGo 10K.
yeah, the Aria
You know,
10Ks.
Aria.
Right. But I would just imagine that at the end of the day, the tour operator would have a lot of heavy influence if they want to get somebody blackballed. But maybe that's what it takes. Maybe it takes them getting banned from MGM properties as well. And if that's the case, I don't think it's that much of a leap to coordinate such a thing. I don't know. This is the thing. I'm speaking very optimistically as an outsider who isn't very familiar with gaming and operations. Like I'm very, very clearly saying I'm green here. So for anybody who knows a lot more than me, don't cut my head off. Like, of course, I'm just speaking to what I hope happens.
Right. None of us work at Nevada Gaming or anything like that. We've just been in casinos and seen people get banned
Yeah.
for
For
all
much
kinds of
less.
stuff.
Fucking nothing.
They just
Remember
say
Venetian?
something wrong and they're
Yeah,
banned.
dude.
Yeah.
I've seen people get banned because they were just annoying. Like,
Yeah.
I was at Bellagio. People like this guy just keeps calling the floor. He gets like a 30-day ban. It's like, no, like you're annoying. Like you keep calling the floor for nothing.
What was he calling the floor for?
He was just like
tired
floor.
of walking.
Like, the floor would come and it was like the most minor thing. Like
He's like,
there's
floor,
dirt there.
you want to swap my cards?
Yeah, just real dumb shit.
Like, you're annoying me. You're out for
No, like
for
they
a
kicked
month.
them out.
Jesus Christ, Ron! I don't want to see your cards anymore.
Floor, you
That was great.
Speaking of, he's just off hustling for.
Blank check Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to just stick to the private streets for a bit.
Yeah.
Can't blame him. He eked out a small win after having the biggest win in Hustler history.
Yeah, 6K or something.
Something like that. It's tough whenever the stats are in front of you. He gets to go
Yeah.
play his home game and just be blind to
Yeah.
whether he's winning or losing.
Yeah.
But whenever every single week somebody's updating a fucking spreadsheet saying like, "Hey guy, you're the biggest loser in
Like,
Hustler
holy
history."
shit, I didn't realize that was that. That was like the first time I looked at my ACR graph. I'm like, wow, I'm a whale.
The whale.
Happens fast.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I
life
mean,
comes
I
at you
don't
fast.
expect. Well, things move fast in this industry, right? So I don't have a high expectation that these guys are going to miss the World Series, specifically the high rollers, especially because there is a coordination between PokerGo and WSOP when it comes to like the 100Ks, the 50Ks and things of that nature. And I don't know how coordinated they are as far as like, I know PokerGo's offering or providing the production side,
right?
And WSOP is putting on the event. So I don't know which
one calls that shot.
Right. I would assume it's WSOP. But I would also assume PokerGo has influence. So basically, like, I don't have high hopes that anything's going to change in the next 45 days, but it is one of those things where if Triton does act, and I don't know when the next Triton event is, hopefully it's before June.
Yeah.
But if they do act, and this blacklist kind of does start to spread throughout other tours and other events, there's a good chance that either PokerGo or WSOP could follow that precedence and say, like, enough's enough. Like, bare minimum, you 4 guys are not welcome in our events.
That's the big
Oh,
one, right?
so the next Triton,
this month.
the next Triton series is May 13th to 25th, 2022
Okay.
in Madrid.
Well,
Oh,
mark
wow.
that date on the
That's very
calendar.
soon.
Yeah. So
it's like a week from now.
So yeah, like 10 days from now or so, we'll be hawkeyeing that, seeing if they just may not show too. So we may not get the confirmation that they're banned.
Hopefully, trying
I
puts
think,
something
I
out.
think at that point,
No one's gonna do anything public. Like Stars and EPT haven't gone public with this. We can't pull any articles that say they were clearly banned. We
Right.
just have firsthand accounts
That is
that
true.
saw them get fucking showered at the cage.
right. If they
But
don't,
I mean,
if they don't show, we'll just assume, but we won't know.
Right.
You know, which
Right,
is
but the problem is that without them showing
Yeah.
and without the confirmation, it puts less pressure on other operators.
Right.
But then again, but maybe if Triton is like, because Triton again, they have no connection to anything, so they're doing this out of do good for their community.
Yeah.
So maybe they just put out a statement. Maybe they are the ones that put out a statement.
I think it's very unlikely Triton puts out a statement, but I could see a world where like Paul Flua
Okay.
just kind of like takes it on himself to be the face of the high roller community, so to speak,
Okay.
and just say like, look, man, we don't want your fucking business. Like,
You can't sit with us.
don't look at my cards.
Or maybe they talk.
Yeah.
Would they ever talk to like WSOP behind the scenes? Like,
Possibly.
hey, they didn't show up. That's because we told them they can't play, and then so you guys, it's your move now.
Yeah, like,
or
look,
they share information
privately, nobody's out of the know here.
Right.
Right. Like, I'm very certain that even if GG hasn't shared its list of banned accounts from them or from their site with WSOP, I'm very certain that like off the record, everybody behind the scenes probably knows.
I mean, like the people that are high up in these companies, like it's like the mafia up there. Like it's a small group of people. They all probably know each other. It's
Yeah,
not,
they've
you know,
all been
it's
a
like-
part of each other's platform. Like guys who worked for Party went to Stars
Right.
went to GG, like GG has gone to W.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover.
Right, it's like
for sure.
Silicon Valley. Like they all like to be swapping CEOs and shit over and over. So
So Ollie and Jake and Rock couldn't register the 5K main, so it wasn't like a buy-in issue.
Right,
It wasn't
okay.
like, oh, this field's too small, like you can't play this field. It's you can't play anything.
We don't want you here.
That's
at all.
good.
Like it's not just a buy-in of a super high roller versus like a 5K main.
Yeah.
Like,
That's good.
Yeah.
That gives me a little bit more confidence that it's the EPT as a whole. Although it's still the same casino. So
Wait, hold on. So they tried to.
They tried to register the 5K and they're like, nah.
why would they try again?
Wait, they tried after being turned away from the 100K?
I don't know if it was after it was the 100K or not, but after it was after the 50K or not because they got
Okay.
banned from the 50K because they played the 100. So I don't know if the main was obviously after the 100K.
Oh, okay.
But when they did try, it was like, nah, dog, like you ain't playing.
So-
They tried to play $100 super satellite, and they
Yeah. $11
keep
rebuy,
moving
you're
down.
out.
Yeah, maybe they thought it was a high roller ban and not like
Yeah.
an open field
right.
ban.
Right. In any event, like this is definitely big news. This is positive news. It's nice to have a small win as the community because I do think that our pessimism has been pretty accurate in the past, right? Like there hasn't been very many accounts. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Russ Hamilton, his banner still flies in the Rio.
That's
RIP
wild.
Rio.
That is wild.
Right? But
Yeah.
like as far as I know, he could go reg an event tomorrow if he really wanted
Are they
to.
moving those banners?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And I don't know that for sure, but like I would assume Russ Hamilton could just like go play an event,
I mean, yeah.
which is
I
like
don't see.
that's fucking.
I mean,
wild,
maybe not.
man.
I mean, that is wild that he could do that.
And people want you to do a deep dive on that.
on the UB scandal.
That could be interesting.
I think that there's definitely an opportunity to do it. Gaucho was the one, or one of the ones at least, to discover the cheating initially.
I don't even know about Ultimate Bet.
Oh yeah, we'll get
I don't
into it for
either.
sure.
Yeah.
I think that's like a summer topic when Gaucho's in town.
Yeah, the
and-
two I want to do is definitely UB and Annie Duke. I want to do both at some point.
Yeah,
You seem hesitant about Annie, but
only because I know a lot less about it. I only know about the
It's like
the
less
Epic Poker
public
League.
we could
information.
bring on Daniel. Like Daniel
What?
knows a lot
Because it's
about
less public information.
It's a good question. I would assume so, just because I was very heavy in the scene back then, and I only remember the Epic Poker League failure. As far as like the UB scandal goes, from my point of view back then, Helmuth was the one who took it on the chin, not Annie Duke.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember her being the fall person. I don't remember the community being obviously because the Epic Poker League like had legs.
Right.
So like she very quickly moved into another business venture and
Yeah, I think I would invite Daniel to come, and then he would shine a little bit. Like
I'm not positive. Well,
No,
I know he dislikes
He
Annie.
doesn't like. If I'm just like, yo, Daniel, like we're gonna talk about Annie, we need some help. He's like, I'm right there. What you need?
Yeah. I mean, the thing with those stories are that it just takes some coordination because for like Gaucho, or maybe less so for Gaucho, especially since he did the 60 Minutes interview
Yeah.
back in the day. But maybe like for Daniel with regards to Annie,
Right.
there's probably a lot that he knows that isn't public.
Right.
So you got to give him time to collect his thoughts
sure.
and
For sure.
kind of filter himself the way that he sees fit.
I'll hit him up today.
He can have all the time he needs.
Yeah.
He's watching. Just let's talk to him right now.
Daniel, if you're watching.
Hi, Daniel.
So more news. This cheating shit just isn't going away. It's just not. We're not going to let it die. We can't.
No, we can't.
More news on this. Zamani. I don't know why you always say.
You look like Jumanji.
No, no.
Martin
There used to be a Cirque Soleil show called Zumanity.
Oh.
You're getting Zumanity and Zamani
Martin
Zamani. Yeah,
Zumanity.
mixed together.
I'm conflating them. So it's Zamani,
Yeah.
the B Squad.
Damn. He went
My
back.
man. Nah, he's still the A Squad. He released some more text messages with regards to implicating Bryn running a ghosting stable.
Yeah.
And this is important for a few major reasons, but the most important of all is that Bryn categorically denied any knowledge whatsoever
Right.
of ghosting taking place in his stable.
Right. And we're talking about the poker news.
Yeah,
Right.
so Sarah asked him point blank, have you ghosted anybody? Did you have any knowledge of anyone in your stable ghosting others? And he just flat out said, like, no. I mean, nothing he said was flat out. Everything was, well, I'm a busy man flying around jet setting. Like, ghosting, what's even a ghost? A Ghostbusters? Who you going to call? Am I right? Bryn Kenny. Woo!
Shout out to Ecto
I
Cooler.
love to help people. I just love helping everyone.
I mean, I'll also bet you that I have a better life experience and understanding than you.
Right.
For
So,
$1
like,
million or $2 million.
Happy Father's
I'm
Day.
just curious, like, what his metric for that was going to be. Like, I'll bet you who has a better understanding
he
of
doesn't
life.
fucking know.
Probably talked
That's
to a
why
shaman.
people.
Who's
it's
going to judge? Who's going to rate them?
I think it was M. Carroll, so he probably had an edge.
Okay.
It's
that's
like
conflict of
when
interest.
Conrad says,
Oh,
"You're
my
getting
God.
into
Like, damn, bro. We're past
Conrad
that.
is not Bryn Kenny.
It's like when Conrad
Come
says
on,
you're about to
boy,
get
like that.
swept. Okay, you want to bet? Yeah, give me odds that you lose the
Listen,
series.
Conrad-
It's just true odds.
it's-
I know I'm going to
there's
win, but I
difference.
deserve odds. It's correct.
He's a high conviction man. Okay.
Well,
It's a
I'm going to
difference.
win, but I need odds. It's,
Right.
it's
Confidence.
correct. You have one game.
Bro, you have to believe in yourself.
But I would
got
say
a lot
Bryn
of
is also a
conviction.
high conviction man.
No,
and,
you're right,
And what
Conrad.
I would replace
right.
with
He's
high
an idiot.
conviction is ignorance.
Okay.
They are ignorant men who believe in their ignorance.
Yeah.
Like that's ultimately what it comes down to, right? And when Bryn offers like a quality of life thing, that's just sheer and utter hubris as far as his own metrics
I'll bet
based
you
off
$1
of
million
reality.
who has a better understanding of life.
Right. It's like, okay, Shaman Bryn, like get off the frog poison for a minute and let's actually take stock.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Mother's Day is this week, actually.
What is
Don't
this
forget.
Happy Father's Day thing? Is it?
He just
that was when he
added
put
it.
out the challenge.
Yeah, he put out a challenge, and
Oh.
at the end, he just goes, "Happy Father's Day to all the great dads out there," and everyone was like, "This is not related to Father's Day."
Damn.
But anyway, in these text messages that Martin leaked, they're very clearly implicating that that Bryn knew about ghosting and was very specifically asking one of his horses to Ghost.
Right, he was like a general in that spot. He was like, hey, like you go there, help him. You go there, help him.
Correct.
Like, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, he's just navigating people. Now, to be clear, and Martin didn't make this public, this isn't an exchange between Martin and Bryn. I hope I'm not stepping over any lines saying that, but I think it's in Martin's best interest to make that clear. I'm not going to say who the exchange is actually with, but it was Bryn and one of his other horses, obviously. And a lot of people were coming out saying like these screenshots are photoshopped, yada yada yada.
Right.
I've actually seen the raw video. It's just taken in low quality. It's not HD. So most of what you're seeing there is just because the screenshots are slightly blurry.
Let's take a step back, Burke, because someone's going to need to come out, because we don't want to dox Bryn, right?
Right.
So someone's going to need to come out and hard vouch for these texts.
Yeah.
For it to be, and it has to be someone that has something to lose. Pre-production, I was talking like, it's going to have to be you, Hulk, maybe Chicago Joey.
Well, it could just be the source too, right? Because
or the source.
The fact of the matter is, like, the video is 21 minutes long, and doesn't. At no point in time is Bryn's phone number disclosed.
Right.
Right. So there is an element to this that isn't clear.
Yeah.
And that shadow of a doubt is something I'm sure Bryn will lean very heavily into. With that said, I've seen more than enough, in my opinion, to have a high degree of confidence that this isn't made up, that this isn't somehow contrived by Martin or the person that sent him this information or anything along those lines. Now, that said, do I think it's enough to incriminate Bryn in a criminal case? No way.
Right.
But do I think it's enough to incriminate him publicly? Of course. It's very similar to the Postle situation, right? It doesn't pass the sniff test. It doesn't pass the eye test. It's abundantly clear that a lot of the rumors we've been hearing since fucking 2007 are just fundamentally true.
Yeah.
And this is more proof to give that a backbone. But it's certainly not enough for him to not just refute it with doubt, right?
It's not beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, of course. So it's like, this isn't going to hold up necessarily as it stands in a court of law, but there is truth to be found, right? It's definitely implying that there is a lot more truth out there for us to seek. And whether or not we ever get to the bottom of that, it's going to depend on who's willing to come forward, right?
So I saw it was maybe the senior editor or something of Poker News saying that he was on it.
Yeah. He sent me a DM yesterday and said, be patient. There's a big story that's going to break from Poker News. And it has more than, it's not just dependent upon Martin, which is good. That's really critical. It's time that we start to get other sources that can corroborate this story. I hope that's true. I hope it's true because like I put a big tweet out yesterday that said like, look, Poker News, you have some responsibility here if you're going to consider yourself a serious news outlet. You gave Bryn the megaphone to denounce anything that Martin was saying as being fundamentally false. What are we going to do now when, Bryn's accuser comes back and says, I have even more evidence.
Yeah.
And here it is. Right. And this isn't the first set of tweets the first set of screenshots that he's put out. There was another set maybe a week and a half ago that were put out that were between Sergi and I think Martin, but it could have been Sergi and another source again.
Yeah.
That was basically admitting that Sergi thought that Bryn could see his screen in some way, shape, or form. And it was also admitting to some form of ghosting.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you expect Poker News to kind of come out with another interview with Bryn or no? Do you expect him to talk about this or not?
I don't know that solves anything, right? Like, I don't think Poker News is meant to be the witness stand where they just keep cross-examining anybody who comes out to speak about this.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the proper way to utilize media. And we're not journalists by any stretch of the imagination, but like, I'm very much of the mind that we don't have to offer a voice to those that were kind of speaking out. Like, I would never let Ollie and Jake come on here and defend themselves.
How many views?
It doesn't matter.
I'm fucking with you.
It doesn't matter because I would never let them do it because I could never have a Stars exec on or a GG exec on to tell me why they're banned.
Right.
So I'm only going to get one side of it. It's going to be a fluff piece and it's going to be it's basically just going to be a platform for them to shout their innocence. And that's very unfair.
And we don't have all the data from the other side. It's not
what
like
you're saying.
it's not like Stars is gonna give us like, no, look, this is why.
Right.
And we're never gonna know.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Right. So it's like, I don't want to have my mind changed on air about something that I'm relatively certain in when I don't get to actually ever see the evidence against.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, that's not our job anyway. Right. And not that we even have a job, but like, we're just literally amplifying things that we have relative certainty in for the public to be more aware. Like, this is all just PSA stuff. Like, hey, here's your public service announcement as a poker professional or as an advocate, or even an enthusiast, right? Beware that there are certain people out there that are taking unscrupulous edges.
Yeah.
Here's a list of people that we're relatively certain in, and here's all the information that we have that corroborates the fact that they're very likely to have been cheating. It's a probabilistic game, right?
How do they so what should you think Bryn do at this point?
Well, I don't think Bryn should do anything. Just like I think Ali and Jake are being smart by staying silent. I don't think anything is gained in their favor by necessarily coming out, especially if they're lying, right?
Just keep showing up and getting shut down.
Yeah. But like, you know, if you start shouting from the rooftops that you're innocent, you're just, I mean, honestly, this already happened. Jake learned his lesson, right? He took to the forums and to the message boards and to the articles and to the news outlets and everything else when Stars seized his funds back in 2016 or 17, I think, for VPNing. At least we thought it was for VPNing. We don't know to what degree it was, right? It could have been more, who knows? But he basically called them a scam site, that they were stealing from him, all this other shit. And a few years later, when all the funds were released to people who had their money seized for VPNing, he was one of the like very, very short list of people who didn't get repaid. So it's like, speaking out and lying definitely doesn't get you anywhere. You're better off just remaining silent.
So we have a couple of, like a large amount of new viewers that are asking potentially, what did Bryn do? Like their first view.
Sure.
Like first time viewing the pod.
Yeah. A quick breakdown of what the accusations are from Martin to Bryn, in short order, is that Bryn was operating a stable that was being leveraged first and foremost to grow the GG population, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Where the problem came in is that Martin is alleging that he was utilizing his stable to both take advantage of the recreationals that Bryn would bring in, but then also to take advantage of guarantees that Bryn was supposedly backing. So to elaborate on that point a little bit, effectively, if a satellite was running with a 2-seat guarantee and they only had half a seat filled so far with entries, right? So let's say they needed 10 entries and they only have 5. Yeah. And 2 people busted. If his horses were still in and registration was still open, Bryn would encourage them to not bust or not end the satellite and scoop the seats because it was more important to him to meet guarantees. Now, the satellite example isn't necessarily great unless, of course, it means that like one of his horses would have gotten a seat and the other one wouldn't have, in which case now he loses out on that EV. But if you extrapolate this out now to guaranteed tournaments, so the real reason why this matters is because once a tournament has a certain number of people left, I don't know if it's in the money or a certain percentage away from the money, they'll close registration early, right? So if you're guaranteeing an event to be 100,000 and there's only 50,000 in the prize pool and you're already down to the final table, it's very beneficial for people to max late reg, right?
Of course, yeah.
But you as the operator
don't want
that to happen because there's a chance the event ends before the max late registration happens. So he's alleged to be firing horses into these events in order to basically double dip on the guarantee. A, ensuring that it gets there, but B, now kind of like taking the rake back from his horses. Expanding upon that, he also had a downline of affiliates, both himself, his horses. They were all sent out to recruit people to come to GG. They were supposed to get kickbacks. Martin's alleging that Bryn stole all those kickbacks and everything got funneled up to the top. Again, none of this is necessarily, like, this is all pretty much soft cheating. Where the harder stuff comes in is Martin also alleged, and Lauren Roberts confirmed, that Bryn at times was playing under her account, which obviously to all the regs in the pool expected it to be an amateur who wasn't winning in these events, and instead they're getting Bryn Kenny behind the screen name. So that is like the first real account of hardcore cheating. Secondary to that, Martin alleges that Bryn hired Mark Herm to ghost his stable whenever they made final tables. There's also been text messages leaked stating that Bryn was asking other people in the stable to ghost some of the players. And then finally, Martin's alleging that Sergi, one of Bryn's main horses who played the highest stakes, was not only a coach and a ghost for final tables, but also had some degree of RTA, whether it was preflop charts, ICM charts, or some level of a database of solves available to help ghost these players at the final table. So the cheating, it kind of has this ripple effect, right? We don't know how much of this stuff is true. We don't know to what degree Bryn is guilty or innocent, but we do know that like a lot of this stuff seems to have been happening from the casual observer's point of view. We recognize that like a lot of his horses did get banned from GG for one reason or another. And it seems as though, at least according to the Bryn interview, he has no idea why, which doesn't make any sense. If he was like literally the guy that they built this site around, it seems insane that if his highest volume horse got banned, he wouldn't have some inclination as to why. Right? That's absolutely a crazy thing to claim ignorance on. It also seems as though a lot of the allegations now are being backed up by screenshots and text messages that Martin is slowly releasing. Again, we haven't heard Bryn speak out against any of those. So at the end of the day, like, is this better or worse than the Ali and Jake and Rock cheating? It's just different. It's scalable in a different way, but maybe it's not quite as egregious because of the many, many accounts that Ollie and Jake are playing under, the stakes at which they're playing. Some
of the stuff from Bryn's just a little unethical, more like it's.
Yeah. He was a lot more. It sounds as though like a lot of what he's being accused of is way more in the moral gray area, or actually maybe it's in the moral black, but in the legal gray. Where like for Jake and Ali, it's just all very black and white that they are doing everything to edge seek, right? So if they're actually running machines, which it seems as though that's what they were banned for, if they're still in those player pools utilizing multi-accounts and having more than one account in games, be it cash or MTTs, like these are massive edges. Their ROI is just through the roof, and that ROI has to come from someone. Generally, it's going to be the weakest players, but it's also going to be the winning players, right?
I mean, not for nothing. It seems that Bryn was doing all this stuff too. It just hasn't been completely confirmed yet.
I don't personally think RTA.
Yeah, I personally don't think Bryn is using RTA.
All right, but his downline is. It seems.
It seems as though that's.
And the more and more that comes out, it just seems that like it's just gluing this together. Like,
I think we know a lot less. It's funny because we actually have an informant coming out about the Bryn stuff, but I still think we know a lot less about the magnitude of that operation than we do the Ali, Jake, Rock, etc.
I'd be interested to see if Bryn was one of those people that showed up to Triton and wasn't allowed to play.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that would be.
It's harder for Bryn because we just don't know when he's ever playing. Like it's just he doesn't tour. He just shows up.
No.
I've heard a lot of
something he doesn't miss.
I've heard a lot of rumors too. So like, I heard that his site is set to launch soon, which I don't know how true that is because I also heard I actually have the pitch deck. I heard he's actually still trying to get funding for it, so maybe it's not set to launch. I don't know.
It is going to 100x, but
can we imagine people playing on it after this?
I mean, they're not going to feel great about it,
Wait,
obviously.
they played on nobody played on Galfon's site, but they're gonna play on Bryn's site.
Well, he's targeting different markets, and he's definitely in the gray. He's not trying to be above board. I also heard, and I don't know how true this is, but the source to me is relatively reliable, that he's not flush. So I don't know if that means he sunk a bunch into the site and it's not necessarily doing as well as expected, or what the case may be. But the rumor is that, he's on the downward trend, not the upward trend. So maybe he's not firing 100Ks and $1 million buy-ins and shit like that. And then I'm pretty certain that he also cut his backing tie. So the person who was funding him initially, I'm pretty certain that they're not in business any longer either. So, I mean, all these ducks are in a row to kind of spell that we're not going to see Bryn on the live tour anytime soon anyway. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, crazier things have happened. I guess the last thing I just want to say about these text message leaks is that they are pretty damning in my eyes as far as being a smoking gun as, with regards to Bryn's knowledge of ghosting. But again, they don't really implicate Bryn for some of the most egregious things that he's being accused of. Right. So I'm anxious to see more information continue to spill out as far as demonstrating that he either knew about RTA or was RTAing himself. I want to see more information come out outside of Lauren and Martin, but actually just black and white, I can read it for myself, demonstrating that Bryn played on Lauren's account. I'd like to see some information come out, kind of corroborating the fact that Dip Throng was ghosting people at final tables. Because again, these stories aren't new. We've heard about these stories dating back to pre-Black Friday. Dip running stables where they're doing a lot of ghosting, Bryn running stables where he's doing a lot of ghosting. This shit's old news, man. This stuff we've all known forever. It's just what can you do? And also at the time that this began, when you're talking about early pre-Black Friday, 2006, 7, 8, whatever, it's debatable how much of an edge that even was. People weren't sweating and looking up the answer and giving it, it was just speculation. Oh, well, I would play it this way, or I have a read on this player that you may not have because you don't play with him as much. And don't get me wrong, that information's worth EV.
I think the Zamani situation where it's hey, this guy brought a laptop with a fucking whole
correct,
a whole software to tell you what to do. That's crazy. That's
well, that's where we're at now, and that's why ghosting is so much more egregious now than it ever was. It's what's frightening about the future of online poker. If you have somebody sweating your final table, they're not doing it passively. They're not just recalling from memory what they think the best play in a spot is or whatever. They have a program open that's giving you ICM calculations and just giving you an accurate result.
That's different.
Every single time, right? It's just okay, well, this is exactly how you're supposed to respond. Third and chips with 40 big blinds when under the gun 2 opens. It's that's powerful information. That's not, oh man, I've played against Mamoni before. I have a read. I just think he's a pip too wide in this spot.
Right.
That's just speculation.
15.
Yeah, he just made a major final table. Pad's got 4th, I think, for 500K. First was 1.2. I think Mamoni got 5th for 400K.
Oh, good.
Something like that. Shout out the old FU15, blast from the past. But yeah, this snowball is definitely rolling downhill. We're still hoping to see the avalanche effect. There's still a lot of names on that list, man. A lot of names.
Fuck, dude.
A lot of names on that list.
God damn.
A lot of names on that list.
Yo, my eyes just went wide for a second.
Why? What happened?
Nah, bro. Just saying.
Anyway, it has to be something with chat.
No, it wasn't the chat.
Oh.
It wasn't the chat.
I just always assume it's something with chat.
No, it wasn't the chat. But I was watching a pod yesterday. Jungle Man was on. And he made a pretty decent argument. Okay, let's say these guys are what we're saying. How long the ban?
Forever.
Ever and
so
ever.
we think permaban is the move?
I don't even think it's close. You should never be able to make money from this game again.
He made an argument of, well, we have to at least allow people the opportunity to make it right. I'm not sure. I'm just asking for an opinion.
Somebody made that argument to me on Twitter, and I think like the response is very clear. Like, first of all, Jungle Man's very biased because he's guilty of these things.
Right.
To what degree, we don't know, but we know at a bare minimum he was willing to ghost an amateur in a situation where the playing field wasn't fair.
Well, his argument for that was that like he was the least of the others.
Asinine.
No, I'm not saying
It's just a pro game with like other people's names, basically.
Yeah. Now suddenly he's gonna say that he's the worst pro of the bunch. Like,
Right.
shut the fuck up. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, that's such bullshit. And he didn't get torched for it because Perkins doesn't know how to get news out without making himself the center of it.
Pissing everyone off.
Yeah, if he hadn't made himself the center of it, if he hadn't said this is bigger than the Mike Postle thing, like Jungle Man would have been absolutely obliterated because there was proof. There was just fundamental, like he admitted it within hours.
Yeah.
What's this story? I don't know. Like this was a little bit before my time, but the Jungle Man with Kisha.
Oh yeah. I don't know. That was like very 2+2-y, and I wasn't really engaged in the forum at that time. I remember reading up on it whenever this news broke.
Hero.
But I don't remember the actual details of it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it was something like soft cheating related. But again, pre-Black Friday, we were a lot more lenient. I don't know if it was like a ghosting type thing or what. But there was a lot of shit that went on like pre-Black Friday-ish, slightly after. A lot of Trojans being put on computers. I remember there was something with Marafiati and a lot of high-level pros. I can't remember if he was the one accused of putting Trojans on other players' computers.
That happened.
It was at PCA.
Yeah.
Rooms were getting broken into. I think Jason Kuhn's computer got stolen.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. That was wild.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was a long time ago. And I don't remember who was implicated or who was accused. But I do remember that there was like this spree of Trojans being installed on people's laptops, unbeknownst to them, and them just getting waxed heads up because basically they were,
could see it.
Yeah, they were getting super used. So, you know, this stuff's not unprecedented, but from the standpoint of allowing people to correct course, this is rhetorical, but why? Why on earth would they ever deserve the ability to come back from this? Somebody made this argument to me on Twitter, and my response was, imagine if the SEC had decided that Bernie Madoff had earned the right to make good on the Ponzi scheme that he operated for the better part of a decade.
He could start up another hedge fund.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. But he has to use the money for good or something, and like, you know, he has to donate his billions to the children of that. Right. Of course, it's insane. Like, why would you ever in a million years give someone the path to redemption in a financial marketplace? Mm-hmm. In life, sure. Nobody's banishing these people to prison forever. Right. Nobody's throwing them in a collection of in a jail cell with murderers.
Right. But there are crimes that are so egregious that there's
egregious to the industry. Yeah.
No, what I'm saying, no, even in
in
criminal
life.
law, it's just like, no, like this is so egregious. Like
that's why
gone.
they have
every industry has a death penalty.
Right.
This is our industry's death penalty. If you cheat people out of unfair EV to at scale, right? At scale, like this is something that I think it's glossed over. People like are calling for Zamani's head, saying like, "Oh, well, you were complicit in all this too. Like you were a cheater. You went along with all this. Like, yeah, he did, but he didn't scale it, right? He's not the kingpin of this. He is very low level.
Who gets to make those decisions then? Who's banned for life and who's banned for?
No, the community.
Community and operators.
Just have a ruling sort of.
Like community and operators have to coordinate for sure, and you have to be careful because you don't want the pitchforks to come out. Right, like if you've been ghosted before, that's very different than if you've ghosted 100 people yourself.
Because I mean, there's going to come a time where it's close, right? Like, oh, should this person be banned for life or should they not? And then it's like, I guess.
Well, it's just operators, and then also just like a committee of people that don't have incentive to see this person.
Right, but also just like erring on the side of giving them the death penalty is not that bad of a practice. So my argument beyond the Bernie Madoff thing was like, this is no disrespect to Bonomo and everything that he's done since his cheating allegations in the early 2000s. And this is absolutely not overlooking how fucking talented he is as a poker player, because he is. But neither Bonomo nor the world nor poker would be worse off if he had just been banned at 18.
Yeah.
right? If that had just happened, it would have been, the world would have went on, right? Sure, he would have had no path to redemption in this community, but he is a very brilliant man who would have done something important somewhere else and probably did it the right way because he had this black cloud hanging over him. And maybe that black cloud hanging over him is what forced him to be a good actor in this community now. Fine. But I don't think that that's a use case for why there should be a path to redemption, right? The idea is not to get one Bonomo out of every criminal case that ruins, because for every Bonomo, we could pluck out 10 others from that same era, you know, like, whatever. I don't want to start throwing shade, but like there are people who are still in the industry now that are just like very clearly bad actors and can't help themselves, right? And they were guilty of the same thing then, and they were accused and they were found guilty, and you know, they didn't do anything to correct course. They're just still in the industry doing fuck shit. They're just doing it on apps now, or they're doing it through multi accounts, and they're on the fucking list, right? And they're guys that you can point all the way back to like 2007. So for every Bonomo that does correct course, there are 10 others that don't. And the win with him correcting course does not supersede the loss we take on the other 9. So just fucking death penalty them all.
Yeah. And it's not like the actual death penalty where, you know, where when you're wrong, you got a real problem, right?
Right. This just eliminates your ability to earn within one specific community.
Right.
And it's hardly going to follow you.
Yeah.
You know, that you're not Bernie Madoff. You're not going to like get blackballed from the finance industry and then try to go into something else.
There's always crypto. You go into crypto.
Yeah, go rug people there.
Yeah.
Get out of our fucking opportunities. But yeah, I think it's like insane to try to show empathy for someone who is very clearly overstepping.
I don't want these people in crypto, by the way.
Obviously.
We don't need these bad
They're
actors
already in there.
crypto.
But like that's the point. Like when we're talking about like what Jake and
there's
Ali,
money involved, there's going to be bad actors.
when we're talking about what Jake and Ali are accused of, this isn't like them sitting down with a moral dilemma.
Right.
This is a very clear overstepping of the line. Right.
Yeah.
It's they can't see the line any longer.
They know exactly what.
Yeah. So it's like if you were ghosted at one point, did you increase your EV in that spot? Sure. Like, but was it very, you know, was it scalable? Did it harm the entire industry as a whole? Did it harm an entire subset of the industry, like high roller community or whatever? Probably not. And like, was it as morally black and white? I can make both arguments. Like from my value system, like, yeah, it's something you shouldn't do. But also when I think back to pre-Black Friday days, it wouldn't even have crossed my mind that that's a morally corrupt thing to do. Right? Like 2008,
Oh God.
everybody was fucking running grindhouses. Everyone. I was just talking to Brent about this today, where it's like we were talking about when we moved out here collectively as a group, and we were basically just saying like it's astonishing that we were actually so well within the rules because it wasn't even frowned upon, right? Like the most we ever did was put people's final tables on a projector and just like watch them play.
Right, yeah.
And it was more just us sweating. It wasn't like we were collectively in a huddle saying like
trying to
if anything we were the opposite. We were
just
so
wanted to
fucking
sweat.
proud.
Yeah.
Each of us was like so individually proud that like there's no way we wanted an outside voice anyway. Because none of us knew any better than the next.
When I locked myself in the room at the final table of the mulligan.
Yeah, man, at final table of the mulligan, we're like, get down here, like we want to sweat or whatever. He's like, fuck you guys. He went in his room, he locked the door, and he just came back victorious.
That's right.
So it's just
20% to Brent.
No double dip.
But
What?
No double
No
check.
double check. No double dip.
No double check.
No discount double check.
that certainly wasn't the standard back then, though.
No,
And I
of
honestly
course
th-
not. No, right.
And I don't think anybody should be like crucified for those like gray areas.
No, right. Nobody knew it
Right,
knew better,
the,
right.
The industry's just matured a lot since then, and like I said, ghosting's very different now. If somebody's literally feeding you a solver output mid-game, that's
just a
very fucking
whole
different.
nother level.
That's a whole nother level than somebody just like giving you very loose coaching that may or may not be helpful, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that like I think Jungle Man's bias is showing in this point or in this particular
Yeah, it's
instance.
a little bit biased for sure. And he said that too. He said like, yeah, like I'm obviously biased because I've done some of these things. Last thing, let's move off this topic. This chat is going crazy over the Botez's giving money sort of going south in the game of the Hustler game. I'll give my opinion. I think that it's not unethical, like what she did whatsoever, because it's their environment and it's a very special game. It's not as if she's doing it knowingly that she's going south.
Yeah.
Now she knows she can't lose.
The table was agreeing, and they were asking for loans.
Weren't they asking for the loans?
Yeah.
Right, but they obviously, it seems as if people didn't bring like a bunch of cash.
Right. Yeah,
So
but
it's not
this
as
isn't
if they could have asked for like, well, this is what I thought the crux of the issue was and why it had to be this way, is because it's not like they all brought millions to the Hustler. It could just be like, hey, let me get 100K. Like they had this like set amount of total cash amongst them, and they needed like someone to loan them. So now Botez has a bunch of chips, and they're like, hey, can I get 100 off you? And she's like, yeah, sure. She's not thinking in malice, like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I know if I give this 100K, it's as if she's going south. It's like, no, that's not how
everybody
you
Well, I heard that there was a whole other problem. They ran out of chips.
Oh shit!
That's a good thing.
What I heard is that they absolutely had no more chips. That's why Keating borrowed and was able to pay immediately thereafter. He had cash.
What?
Oh shit!
Wait, this is the
is-
Hustler, though.
Rumor is Garrett and probably Ben
Oh, they probably just
had
have
so much in their fucking box
That's fucking
that the
great.
casino doesn't have enough
need
chips
more
to run a
chips.
game that large.
Yo, that's fucking hilarious.
That's the rumor. That's what I heard.
Yeah, they should just put a
so
fucking
much
Snicker bars,
money,
a
bro.
Snicker bars for like 100K.
But they don't have bigger, so they just don't have bigger chips than 5.
Five
They need
kids the
some
biggest chip.
plaques.
Oh,
no
shit.
plaques. 5K is the biggest chip.
Who was that guy that took like every 100K chip from like it was like a random like
I
casino?
remember that.
Look, this
Remember?
is why I think
Yeah.
it's fine.
I don't remember
This is
who
why I
it
think
was.
it's fine. Even if that wasn't the case, it's because it was a very special environment.
was
This
a
is
home
like
game.
a home game.
It was a home game environment.
This isn't she's like in an open game knowing that she's going south. Like that's not what's happening at all.
No.
The players are asking her, "Hey, can I take it off your stack?" No, they don't care.
cares.
Like
Not
it's,
one
it's,
person at that table
there's
even
no
double
malice.
looked at it.
There's
Yeah,
really-
not only that, they don't want to be fucking 800,000 effective.
Yeah.
But I don't think she even cares. Like that
That's
wasn't the
not
reason.
my point.
Yeah.
That's not my point. Like none of them do. Like whether she
I
wants
think
to or
Beast
not.
wants to be a million
Yeah.
effective.
but no, he doesn't. Like he doesn't want to break Botez for $1 million,
Yeah.
which
That's
she's in
also
for
true.
50.
That's also true.
Like this is meant to be a
Well, they
friendly
even let
gambling
her
environment.
she was like, I want to profit 100K at the very least. So they even let her put like her initial 50K plus 100 in her purse.
That's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
great.
So it's like it's. I don't know why people would be mad because they all
the
agreed on
only
it.
person who would have gripe would be Keating.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one who can't get all
Clearly
of
he
his
didn't
fucking money
'cause
back.
he was
He don't give a
loaning
fuck.
from her. So
Right. So it's just like
The people just want things to be mad about all the time.
Yeah.
Well, they want the problem is, and to be fair, streams do a very poor job of this. But the general audience has no idea. They're not privy to what private games and high stake games are like from an operator standpoint. They don't understand how lax the rules are.
yeah.
So laxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You just think the commentators should speak to it more, or
the
they should-
commentators can help it for sure,
Yeah.
but I think that like
Gotcha.
I think that it needs to be addressed in other ways as well. Like whether it's like through a scoreboard or something graphical. Because the problem is that you need to constantly remind the audience. You have so much turnover when 25,000 people are watching
Right.
that.
More than that.
What's that?
More than that, because there was on Ludwig's channel
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Like 85,000.
Right, but like
Right,
on
let's just
Ludwig's
say-
channel, probably nobody cared.
They probably don't even know that going south is bad.
Correct.
Right. It's just let's just say like a standard 10,000 person stream on the Hustler on a Friday.
Yeah.
Like there's just like a bunch of people coming in and out all the time that know poker, but they know poker. Like they're playing 1-3-2-5 and they're seeing people like going south and they're like, what the fuck is this? Like people get mad if I tip the waitress $25. Like it's like, oh, you can't tip that much. You're going south. Like, so it's a little bit.
At 10:20, they get mad.
No. But I've seen. Listen, there was one time I was playing 1-3 and I had like a very like I had a massage for like a while. I was like hanging out with the girl I was talking to.
And
then-
always a girr.
Yo, I always get, listen, whatever, man. Like what I'm saying is, I had a long massage, and I obviously the cap is like 500.
Happy.
Do you slip her your number too?
Let him tell a story.
No, that's what you guys fucking did to me yesterday when I was telling my goddamn story. Never again. Never again.
All right, when someone has a story to tell, it's quiet.
No, it's
time.
not that funny though. It's not my story sucks.
I guess just real quick, touching
No, whatever.
on.
I ended up tipping a large
You tipped
amount.
a lot, and someone got pissed
No,
about
not
it.
even. Like it was an expense. It was expensive because it's $2 a minute, and
Yeah.
it was like a long massage, right? Like let's say it's like the massage is an hour. It's $120 plus tips, so it's $150, whatever. So I take it out my stack, and some dude's like mad. He's like, "You can't just take away $150," and I'm like, "Is this how it is here? Like this sucks."
Well,
Yeah.
what Efro was saying in the comment section too was that Helmuth was the one complaining the most about people going south.
Yeah.
Which is so hilarious.
That's
He
like,
had
doesn't
half
even
of
cover
it. Yeah,
anyone.
he was
Right.
covering no one.
It's so fucking
he's
hilarious.
gonna get there. He's gonna get
That's
there.
that's
fucking
why
mind.
he's the villain.
It is
No,
why he's
that's
the villain.
bad.
But that's super bad
listen,
etiquette.
It doesn't help that to develop this home game environment where everyone's lax. When my man Helmuth is literally like, you have to cut the cards
Oh
like
my
this.
God,
And
yeah.
it's like, bro, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like, are you accusing the dealer of being shady? Like, what are you saying?
Just
Like,
real quick, like going back to the slime incident, Tom made a statement yesterday saying that he thought that they both put 5K in the pot and then they run the pot out. Not that there should be a full.
That's what.
That would have been the
Okay.
most reasonable
That's
solution.
what he was suggesting. Not
Tom was
that.
suggesting that you run the pot out, you put 5K in. Like Phil has a little bit of an advantage because he has the best hand and wasn't gonna
Well, a
fold.
lot of an advantage, but yeah.
Right.
this is the
when
issue.
I was watching it, that's what I thought was gonna happen.
That's exactly
Right. I was like, okay, they're gonna do.
The
And then it was like,
surrendering the
wait,
pot
he
thing was
just
like-
surrendered it. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
So weird.
Yeah, the surrendering
Yeah.
the pot was
It's
not
like, okay,
agreed upon.
right.
Yeah. So
Listen, this is the.
that was all made right. Which
I
is
think
nice.
there's a little bit of a problem, like not a problem. It's just that when you're playing lower stakes at the casino, the rules are so strict.
They're
Yeah.
so
It's
strict,
like
right?
They have to be because people were learning, right?
Right.
So you have to really condition them
Ingrain it into their.
to understand like the mechanics of the game, what is and is not allowed. Like this is where you train angles out of people.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be super fucking diligent. And anything that looks like an
It
angle.
just sucks for the game.
Yeah.
It sucks for, but
Yeah,
I
it
guess it's
sucks, but like
unnecessary.
it prevents so much anguish as you move up.
At low stakes
Mm-hmm.
at Bellagio, they don't even like want you to talk at all if it's heads up.
Oh, I know. Like they're
Really?
they're super
Yeah.
super. Honestly, it's a bad experience.
I'll talk
It
to them
is,
about
yeah.
it. That's
It's true.
wild. At low stakes?
Yeah.
Look,
Me and
510
Conrad
or
were
bigger,
playing.
literally, like
me and
the
Conrad
players
were,
are
no, I
running
know.
the game.
Like everywhere else, it's like whatever. And even last night, like when 2-5 was like very lax.
Yeah.
Like he kept like grabbing chips off the other guy's stack. And they
Yeah.
were like doing a little jokey thing. But like, yeah, we were at Bellagio, and even in heads up pots, the dealers, certain dealers were just like, you know that guy who looks like Mr. Clean?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, he's like so serious, and he was just like, "You're not supposed to talk
That's
at all."
nuts. That's not even a rule.
And we were like, the lady was hammered, and everyone was laughing,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "Don't talk." I'm like, oh,
Dealers have it
That's
bad.
weird.
Dealers have it bad though because like they're in a tip-based they're in a tip-based position, so they need to be catering to the customer. But there's a spectrum of customers, so it becomes a matter of like you don't want to show favoritism based off of necessarily who's going to tip the best. You want to be fair,
yeah.
and leave it be a meritocracy and let the rules dictate. But it's a fine line between showing some laxity to the rules or laxness to the rules and still in being able to enforce what's necessary.
Then you have a spectrum of dealers then.
Right.
Because some
Correct.
dealers are super strict and some are just like, they let
Yeah,
they
like
let
I take a
things
ton of
slide.
issue. I take a ton of issue whenever when I play like smaller buy-in tournaments or if I'm fucking around or whatever, and certain dealers get in the box that don't recognize the environment. Like they can't read the room. You know, they don't know that they're in a meetup game, or they don't know that like there are 3 people at this $500 buy-in tournament that play 10Ks. And I'm only that's not a big time thing, right? That's just we fucking know. Don't tell me to get off my phone before the last card hits the button, because nobody cares except you.
Of course
Yeah.
you have a problem with that. You're always on your phone.
Those type
I play a $500 tournament. Of course I'm on my fucking phone.
Yeah, it's just like
Listen,
being,
if you're in $1 million tournament, you'll still be on your phone
Yeah.
just as much.
That's not true. They take them.
yeah, I think there's something to just like that, like just knowing the environment you're in. Like knowing where you need to protect players, where you don't need to protect players, like knowing when it, like the intent of someone is more important than like the absolute rule of this situation.
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, I mean, the show one show all rule needs to be banished. That shit is annoying as
Yeah,
fuck.
I don't get that.
It's like
It's just so like
it's just one of the most annoying rules. I remember being at resorts.
If you're just like sweating the
playing,
person next
like
to you.
I was just hanging out, very friendly game. I'm like, you know, my girl's sister, whatever's there, and then like,
This guy
every time,
This
bro.
guy got girls for dick.
he obsessed with his
He
girl.
just anchors every story to like, yo, my girl.
because
My
I'm sure,
girl.
because it's
Girl, I
it's in
was
the
talking-
context.
Listen, dude, if you ever
it's
want
in
to
the
tell a
context
story,
of
you
the
can just not
situation.
Yeah. You can't,
Anyway,
Honestly,
I
you-
holy fuck!
you can never do it.
Got him.
It's not even necessarily that he always references having a girl. It's that she's his girl. Like, I don't think I've ever said the word "my girl" outside of referencing the movie. In
Yeah,
my
because when you say it,
life.
you sound like a 1950s like child. My girl.
Anyways,
I had a set of sevens.
Aiden's gonna set too. You got a good fucking hand.
Whatever. I have a set of sevens. I check raise the
How good
river,
is this guy running?
and then like I'm telling her like I got it. You know, like I'm not trying to stack her, whatever. She folds her hand, and I pitch my cards to her so she could see it. She I don't know if she looked or not, but as soon as she looked, or whatever, let's say she looked, and then she like hands the card to the dealer just snap tables my hand. And I'm like, damn, nobody asked.
Nobody asked,
Like
yeah.
nobody even asked. And he's like, it's show one, show all. I'm like,
That's so
I'm like,
so
annoying.
fucking tilting. It makes me want to flip.
Because
Not
they
many
like
things do.
No.
it's
Nobody
just, like,
even asked.
It messes with the vibe of the table when they're like getting all in, like all your business and all the rules
It's
and
the
shit.
prob-
It's just like, oh my god, relax.
that was
like,
max tilting. Look, I end up not so then we start playing shorthanded, and I'm just like raising every hand, and I'm not tipping shit. I'm tilted as fuck. I'm just like, I'm not every hand I don't tip, and then at the end of the night, I throw him a 20, and I'm like, hey man, like you didn't have to do that. And then I just like he was like okay, and he left.
When
and I
people
left.
don't ask,
But for that 2 hours or whatever, that 30 minutes that he was sitting there, like, he didn't get nothing, and I'm sure he was tilted.
Yeah.
I was trying to get him as tilted as I was.
when people don't ask, it's absurd. It's one of the craziest shits ever.
And like literally, I'm like upset. I'm like nobody asked. And then they call the floor like obviously rules in his favor.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, this is so
It's not even a
annoying.
question. The floor has to rule in his favor.
No, I get the law of the land, but it's like, bro, show some.
After
No.
playing in like some looser environments with rules and stuff, or with like how loose they are with rules, it's honestly just such a better experience. It's so much more fun, and you can just like relax.
I will
and-
play the bad guy though.
I felt so like, look, I knew this is his living, so I felt bad at the end, and still
Yeah.
threw him like I literally threw him the money.
Right.
But it was just like, look, for that time period, you felt shitty. And I
Yeah.
want you to remember that, like, your job is to create, like, be part of the environment,
Yeah,
not like be a
yeah.
Nazi. I thought at the time.
But sometimes
go ahead.
they're
You want to
super
play devil's
fun.
advocate? Yes.
Well,
yes. He
I'll be
finally
the-
plays the bad guy.
I'll be the bad guy in a certain sense. Like, look, I'm used to an environment where, in the better part of a decade, the floor has been been called over for a ruling exactly 0 times. Like, it truly does just become a gentleman's game at a certain stake level, which is insane. Like, the more money at risk, the more it's just
the more
policed
it's
by
laxed.
the people who are risking it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, they just want your rake so bad at that point, right?
No, there's
But the
no
rake is cheap.
Oh, it's
We're-
cheap rake.
We're literally
Yeah.
paying like when
I don't know.
we're-
It feels like it's like more concierge service. Like they're more.
Yeah, but it's
VIP
because
treatment.
it's because of the way that the game dynamics are set up. There aren't strangers in there that are ever going to shoot an angle.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
they'll get dragged out and beaten down if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to get away with anything there.
They'll show up in Lake Mead.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, those are idle threats. Obviously, that's not the case, but they'll lose a seat in one of the best spots that they'll ever fucking be in.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is this weird thing that, like, at the highest echelon, the rules are basically guidelines,
Yeah.
right? And we just do what makes most sense. I can't tell you literally thousands of times somebody has put out the wrong chip taking action.
Yeah.
Many people have folded behind them. and somebody stopped it and said, "Did you mean to put out $5K when there's $600 in the pot?" And they say, "Oh no, I was trying to make it 1,000."
Yeah.
Right.
And we go, "Do whatever you want."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the action just stops there, and it's like we don't. You know, like it's not this whole like that action influenced this yada yada.
Right.
It's like, of course we get it, but at this level, everybody is. Even if you're an amateur, everybody is far enough along in their playing ability to know what the fuck is going on. And if they're not, we're certainly going to cater to that person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
like, it even happened yesterday when I was playing Win 510, where I just played a pot against someone where they raised too big of a size pre. And like we both knew it. And I was like, oh, like you didn't mean to make it that size, right? And he was like, no. And we just fixed it.
Yeah.
Just like that. Because we just knew that was the right thing
That's
to do.
pretty rare, though, at those stakes.
It does happen.
Oh, it happens
does
a lot.
Last
Yeah,
night,
it
like
happens
the
a lot.
win
It
was
depends on-
very.
I think
like,
it
they
depends
were
on the
very
players
like
at the
that.
table. It depends on the dealer. It depends on
Yeah.
certain
Sure.
things.
And players should be catering to this situation. For example,
It's dangerous, though.
Another Melissa who we all know, like literally misclick raised 4x on the button, and I know it was a misclick because she doesn't do that. Because and I saw the way the hand, like her hand thing, she was like, oh, all right. I end up 3-betting her ace queen suited in the small blind. I take it down, and I literally throw her $10 back. I'm like, I know what happened. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I know that you don't fucking open.
It's
But
just like
that's
better-
different. That's
it's
different.
better.
You're fixing it after the fact.
Yeah.
And it was an easy fix because she folded. If she
Yeah, but
called,
still.
but if she calls, you can't fix it.
Yeah, if
Because
she
you're-
calls us different. Yeah,
Because your sizing's now based on the
Right,
4x,
right,
right? So you
100%.
can't fix it. And you can't necessarily fix it in real time. You could because you know her. But in the general populace, and this is why I'm playing devil's advocate, against a random pool, a non-invited pool, you can't forego the benefit of the doubt, or you can't offer the benefit of the doubt and forego your EV in all of these spots.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
Because
I
there are
I
just
do it a lot.
way too many fucking bad actors who will show up and play stupid.
Right.
Yeah, that's
We used to
fine.
play, remember Patsy?
Yeah.
And his thing where he would misclick the wrong chip, like if he's sitting in a cash game, like call it 2-5, and there are hundreds and 25s in play, and he wants to bet a quarter into, he's like, he told us this fucking story where he flopped a flush, and he goes, yeah, there's like $100 or like $50 in the pot or whatever, and I wanted to bet a quarter, but I purposely threw out 100. So he just bets 2x pot,
Right.
and then immediately does this.
I mean, that's an angle.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a fucking angle.
That's a
Yeah.
difference.
But that's
Yeah.
the whole point is
Yeah.
that there are enough people out there that will do that you can't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
That's
well, I
fair,
guess
fair,
like the
fair.
nice thing about the higher stakes private games is that there is an internal policing system if they want to keep their seat.
Exactly.
So
Common,
whereas
yeah.
an open game, it's like you don't have to work to keep your
Right,
seat.
right, exactly. So that's
you just
that's kind of why
outline.
I'm advocating that there still needs to be rules. There still is a need for floor people and a need for dealers. What we don't need is the extremist.
The
Yeah.
dealers,
Right, but
the dealers
again,
need to be.
like the regs need to help protect. If you know this guy's an angle and he does an angle against someone you've never seen before,
Yes.
you
Yell
just
that
literally
shit.
just say
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"This guy's an angler."
Yeah.
And that's it. Do whatever you want, but I've seen him do this, and he usually has the nuts.
Yeah, so,
deal-
okay,
And
so
then
real
say,
quick, real
fuck
quick. So like,
everything.
I have a story from yesterday where I took my hand in playing short deck, and I was playing Win 2-5 short deck with some Israeli people play every Tuesday. And
Landon was trying to fit in with the Israelis.
yeah, I just want to play some short deck. I never played the game before, and we played a bomb pot, and this was timed rake. Basically, they all spoke Hebrew, and not much English was going on, and they paid rake and they tip well, and they just let them run this game. And then we played a bomb pot where a guy rivers a straight flush, doesn't realize it, guy goes all in, he calls, doesn't table his hand specifically, but shows the guy next to him, and I can just see it, and I look like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of hearts. That's a straight flush that beats this guy's flush. He mucked his cards. But fortunately, like I saw it. The other guy didn't really see it because he was busy with the king high flush, wanting to win the pot. And I was like, yo, you have a straight flush. And they literally pulled his cards out of the muck that they could still find. That was 8, 9 of hearts. And they just chopped the pot just like that, like no problem. Like sometimes you just make a mistake and it's easy to fix. And like I'm just fortunate enough to be able to fix that mistake.
Yeah.
What was the point of that?
Well, the point is that like in other situations, like the guy that has a straight flush that doesn't explicitly table his hand loses the pot. It's just over.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but that wasn't. Okay.
What do you mean? No.
What we were
what are you
talking about, though.
In a normal game, that doesn't get solved.
That's
in a normal
fine.
game, he mucks the pot.
Yeah, but that's fine. Let him fucking muck. Like that.
He has a straight flush.
Okay, so it's nice that you're able to give him back his mistake.
The point is, in a normal game, that's not fixable.
But it doesn't need to be fixed, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is like you have to still protect the integrity of the game, and in these open.
That's so down bad. The guy literally shows the guy he has a straight flush, and he mucks. You're like, oh, it's his mistake. He loses the pot. That's
if you
just
wanted
ridiculous.
to, if you wanted to go by the letter of the law, absolutely, you could do that.
That's why I'm saying in this game it would be fixed, because by the letter of the law he loses the pot.
No,
which
it
I
would
find
only be
ridiculous.
fixed because the guy was agreeable.
Yeah.
He didn't have
Technically,
to chop the pot.
they would rule in the other
Yeah,
icebreaker.
and there's certain spots where, like, if it's heads up, they could do whatever they want. I try not to get involved in that situation unless there's like an egregious angle that I'm like, hey, I need to protect this.
Right, and that's the
like that's a little different.
Part
that's
of the
the
game is
larger
knowing
point
your
at
hands and, you know, what hand you made.
Well, that's the larger point at hand, is that the integrity game comes first and foremost, and in these open environments, there isn't the onus of needing to stay in the spot that protects the players from policing the environment themselves. So while that's a feel-good story and that's great, you can't really operate that way on the general spectrum when you're in that environment because A, you don't know those people. B, they very likely know each other.
Yeah,
they
and
do.
C, you become the mark. Like, this is how cheating rings happen. There was that Cuban cheating ring that was going through LA for the better part of when COVID first ended.
Cubans, you said?
I think they were Cubans. It was in LA and Florida they were specifically operating out of, and I think it was in PLO games.
Oh, I remember this. The two guys.
Yeah, they were working together in some sort of regard, and it's like they're taking advantage of the looseness of the rules. So it's a very difficult spot for dealers because it's a no-win situation. If they are too lax, then the table captains who don't like those lax environments in public games are down their fucking throat. Yeah. Hey man, you can't let these two people talk about their hands when there's a third person involved.
Yeah.
No,
Hey
that's
man,
nuts.
It's so annoying.
like, hey man, you can't let him show him his cards without tabling it to the table. Show one, show all, right? There's always that guy at the table.
Yep.
So that's something that dealers have to consider. And then there's the other aspect of it of like,
And those guys are usually supremely nitty.
Of course.
I fucking bury my hand in the
Oh
muck
my
when they do
God.
that.
Of course,
Yeah.
but then you also have like the VIPs that are going to be drunk and giving away the most amount of money, and they want to cater to that. It's a rock and a hard place for dealers.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a hard job.
Where it's super fucking tough to read the room, and the best ones are the ones that are able to identify very quickly who the friendly face is at the table, who the I don't know what you want. If you want to call it the alpha reg or whatever, the guy who is always going to stand up for what's morally correct, but also what's best for the environment, not the shit reg who's going to complain because the recreational showed seat 9 his hand.
Yeah.
Right?
That's bad.
Yeah.
Right? It's a whole other ecosystem that's at play here where you have to walk a very fine line between what can be angled and what cannot, and how the dealer then approaches that, right? It's tough, man. I remember a very specific spot where I was playing 10-20, I think, at the win, and this huge pot erupts where I ended up playing like a 16K pot or something. And at the end, I said all in, and I had like, the 40 stack towers, like way too many fucking chips in volume. And I said all in and moved the chip forward. I got the button, the all in button.
Yeah.
The player who I was up against thought that I bet this like 1K chip. Snap calls.
Oh, wow.
I have the nuts.
Rough.
I just have the nuts. And I roll my hand. And he goes to pay $1,000. And everybody's like, no. And the floor gets called over. What's
you
that?
have the all-in button.
No, but it probably happened so fast.
And also those buttons back then were the size of the sit-out button or the seat change button.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There weren't these big
Right,
discs.
yeah.
It was just literally like some little indication, and it happened so fast. It was 1K chip. He had headphones on, obviously.
Right.
1K chip hits the felt, snap call. Now what? My table or my hand's tabled, right? So obviously they rule in my favor, and I feel terribly.
Yeah.
But like, what can you do?
Don't wear headphones.
Right. Like in a private game where I know guys and he's not wearing headphones and like it's a clear mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you get the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And if you continue to do it, you're going to lose your seat.
Yeah.
But in an open
We all
10-20
make
game where I'm never going to
mistakes,
see this
too.
guy again. What's that?
Like we all make mistakes. Like
Right.
I've made mistakes and it's just like you just eat it and you learn from it.
Yeah, I've
It's
mucked
like,
winners
whatever.
a fuck ton.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm sure
literally-
people have seen me muck the winner.
The first live MTT I ever played, which was like before I really like actually started playing poker, I got the clock called on me, didn't know the clock was on me the whole time, was staring at the other guy, waiting for him to decide. Like he like was all in, and I didn't realize he went all in, and I had like top 2, and I was like going to double, and then my hand was just dead. And I was like, what happened? I was like so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I can never play this game
Sitting
again.
there with a nut flush.
So you think
just
Yeah, I literally just like, my hand was dead, and they were like, oh my God,
So you
what
think
were
if
you
someone
doing?
makes a mistake, you can identify the mistake and you have the ability to fix it, but because it's an open field game, it's their loss. That's
no,
okay.
look, this is what
It
I'm going to
depends
say.
on the mistake.
This is what I'm going to say.
I just completely
Look,
disagree.
okay,
with that.
look,
It
what about the
depends on who
scenario?
it is.
Wait. What about the scenario I just described? Should I have given him his $8,000 back?
Well, I wasn't listening. Well,
Jesus Christ!
I just wasn't like.
Can you please turn Landon's mic off?
Yeah.
How you come into the conversation?
How could you literally interject something that's so blatantly against what was just spoken about?
What do you mean?
Christ almighty.
You're just saying a story where someone makes a mistake and you say you should just give him his money back. If you knew he made a mistake, just give him the benefit of the
I
doubt.
don't know. You don't know.
No, because
With the
part
there's
of
the
like
chip that
the
says-
game is knowing your fucking hand and knowing the rules. And if you mess up because of that, if someone else jumps in and is like, "Oh no, actually you did have the best hand." It's not like that. It's not online. Like if they mucked their hand, they mucked it.
Right.
You know?
They
It's
didn't
one of
take
those
it from
things-
the dealer to read.
I mean, I for one just don't. I don't like that, but that's fine.
But you're not. It's not even like you're not even in the hand. So like then you're just getting involved in like a heads-up scenario where you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, I think you're
If there's
massively
an identifiable
overstepping
mistake and
There
there's the
are
ability
things
to
that
fix the identifiable mistake,
I think you're actually way out of line by
that's
telling
be-
that
I don't-
guy he has a straight flush.
Yeah.
It's one of those where
I
it's
think
like
you're
if it's a
way out of
heads
line
up
doing
pot
that.
and it's not and your money's not involved,
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
mostly stay out of it. Like
Yeah.
there
This
are
one-
exceptions.
this isn't
Like
an
if,
open-
if someone
okay.
is clearly angling a fucking recreational
Yeah, of
super
course,
hard,
of course.
like then you should get involved
Right.
as a reg, right? It's like, bro, you haven't
But that's
now
not an
you should protect
angle.
the game. But in a spot where it's heads up versus two people that are likely friends or whatever, like you just let them do their thing.
I
you
used
know?
to talk to the man about this a lot whenever I was backing him in like the Open 510 games. At the end of the day, this is my livelihood and this is your livelihood. And if you're one of the stronger players in the game, it's very important that people are not fucking with your livelihood. And that categorically goes out to any way, shape, or form that somebody could seek an unsavory edge on your watch. So whether that's angling a wreck or whether that is creating a negative environment because they're bitching to the dealer about something that is very pedantic or they're making a wreck uncomfortable, like all of this is yours to police as a strong player in the game.
Right.
But where you're overstepping is when people are doing business that isn't yours to take care of, right? If two regs are in a pot and one person misreads his hand and fires it in the muck and you're the only one who saw it, keep that shit to yourself.
Nah, fuck that. You needle him the next hand.
Yeah.
You needle the fuck out of him the next hand.
Well, okay, yeah. You don't say it,
Okay,
right?
so the situation with the guy folding a straight flush, these guys aren't regs. These guys aren't alpha short deck players. They're just friends that create a home game having fun. And I know for a fact that they all know each other.
It's just like, it
Right.
doesn's matter.
So
It's
you're like
you're not
intruding
being-
on
that
their
might be a
space
slightly
and
different,
calling
unless the
up
cards go on their back.
Scenario.
it
Well,
has
listen
nothing
to the
do
end
with you.
result. Why did you quit the game?
Why did I quit the game? Because
Yeah.
they called me a nit and I didn't feel invited. That has nothing to do with it.
It does though.
I didn't know how to play short deck. They thanked me for saying Bro, they thanked me for saying something after the hand was over.
That's
So,
not
like-
what you told me. You said that the guy didn't say anything to you and was mean.
No, he wasn't mean. They just chopped the pot.
You said you felt very unwelcome that the
I
guy
felt
did not
unwelcome
thank
from a
you.
guy that wasn't in that pot that kept saying I was folding bottom 5% hands, calling me a nit, and then 4-bets and has aces.
That's because you refer to his bottom 5% of hands. I just said Jack 6 off every time.
What's Queen 6 off?
Jack's
Queen six off. Exactly what the
I
fuck
didn't
it
say
is.
bottom 5 fucking percent. I just said I kept having bad hands, and I did. And then they made me feel bad.
I'm just saying that, like,
If it was between two regs, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say anything.
Sure.
I wouldn't say a word.
but
Speaking
to a
of-
lot of people, that's part of the game is punishing ignorance.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, but I just
But,
don't.
and
I don't
also
view
part
it
of the
that way.
game is knowing your hand.
Yes.
And unless those cards
If you
get
don't
flipped
know
over
your
on its
hand, you're
back,
gonna lose
Way
money.
different.
yeah.
Way different.
If the cards hit the back,
yeah, if the cards are tabled
Yeah.
and the dealer misreads
Right.
it or
Yep.
doesn't declare
That's
the winner,
different.
you absolutely always step in.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
your
But if
duty
he's
as
mucking
somebody
face
in the game.
down,
He wasn't
he's
mucking face
Because
relinquishing.
they did nothing wrong.
Correct.
The player
He
did
mucked
nothing
What do
wrong.
you mean
up?
he wasn't making fucking face
He
down?
showed. He was in the middle. He showed the right side of the table.
Sorry,
his
those
hand.
cards have to be
It
on
has
their
to be
back
It was,
on the
it was
felt.
like the dealer couldn't see it, but it was.
So
it was
the
close.
dealer has
There's
he has
some
to
tact
muck it
to
face
it.
up.
Like there's a
It was
little bit
enough to where the other guy acknowledged that the other guy had the hand. He
Listen,
did.
I draw a line because like I feel like there's something like this is something that comes up in times, and it's kind of important. Like you shouldn't be saying anything unless those cards hit on their back on the felt. And that's where
I think
put
it's
my
case
line.
specific.
I don't know.
I just think it's case specific. Between two regs, I wouldn't say a word. Like if I was playing like a 5-10, 10-20 game and like someone made a mistake, I wouldn't say a word. If a recreational made a mistake, I would say a word. Like if a
Depends if
recreational
it's-
shows the reg his hand and then mucks it and I see it, I would say something. 100%
All right,
of the
you're
time.
not- You're
but
invited
really
to my
screwing the
game.
other player.
We already knew that though.
I'm not though, because
You are.
the way the game works is there are rules, and if I can make a positive change
You just
because someone
don't-
makes a mistake that can be saved, I think that that's
You
fine.
basically
No,
just
no,
don't.
no.
What it comes down to is you don't really fuck with other people's
I
money.
can
It's
see
also,
that.
that's what
it's
you're
also
doing.
zero sum. There's no such thing as a positive change. What's
Yeah.
positive for one person is negative for another.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You
If
fucking with other
someone
people's money.
like if a recreational player made a mistake against me in a spot where someone else saw it, someone else then corrects that mistake, I would have absolutely no problem with the reg making
Well,
saying-
obviously, because look at the stance you're taking. Of course, you would feel that way.
And that's totally
Right, because
fine. That's your right.
that's
but
part-
that's not commonplace.
That's because people are scumbags.
Bro, listen to me.
No,
Listen
no,
to
no,
me.
absolutely not. There
If
has to
I'm
be a
playing
line.
Part
a
of
big
live
hand,
poker
there
is
has to be a
capitalizing on
line here.
mistakes.
bro, if I'm playing a huge hand and like I bluff the river and this dude like shows you and then mucks it and now you get involved.
I wouldn't say it because
But
you're
why?
still in the middle of the hand.
No,
He
no, no,
didn't
no.
call.
Listen to me. Listen
I'm
to me.
the
Listen
river.
to me. Listen to what I'm saying. I bluff this river, right? I'm all in for like fucking $5,000.
Sure.
And this guy shows you, and it's the nuts, right?
Yeah.
And he now fires it in the muck because he
I would
misread
say
his hand.
nothing.
But that's
Because
not
he
what
didn't
just
call.
said.
He didn't
How
call.
about this? How about this? Say he called, and then you show the ace of heart or something like that.
And then he mucks.
And then, regardless, if somehow this guy throws his hand in the muck and you, a third person out of nowhere,
I would
gets
be
involved,
so mad.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, yo,
I'm
what the
flipping the
fuck?
fucking table.
I would be so.
and then I might
that
fight you.
table's getting flipped and you're getting tased.
Yeah, like, why are you
Like,
involved?
mind
This is
your
the same
fucking
scenario.
business.
This is the same scenario of that hand I told at the
I was
Bellagio
gonna
where
say
the
when
nine
the guy
seed.
did Jack's full. I was
Yeah, the
just
nine
exactly
seed had
thinking
jacks
that.
full, and I had sixes full of aces on 6-6 Jack 9 ace. I table ace 6 on the end for a 20K pot or something like that. He shows me jacks and wings it in the middle. Blackjack Kenny was immediately to my right. Didn't say a goddamn word because he fucking knows to stay out of this.
Yeah.
Cards hit the muck. And in the process, like, obviously, I see what's happening. I let the guy know because now it's up to me to do business if I want to.
Right.
Because,
You could have said nothing and took the pot.
of course.
Right.
And if that were my value system, then that's fine.
So what did you
Right.
do? What did you do? You just chopped it?
I offered to chop it. He declined. He said he I offered to give him his river bet back, which was 8K into like
Oh
a
wait,
5K
is
pot.
this the guy that got mad at you?
Yeah. And he goes, no, I want to chop the entire pot. And I go, no, I'm being very generous. I pulled a helmet. I said, I'm being very generous here, sir. Your hand is in the muck and I deserve the whole
Different
pot.
situation.
And he goes, I'm calling gaming. And I said, go ahead and call gaming. And he called gaming and 2 hours later came up to me and apologized.
Like
2 hours.
here's what I'm saying in this situation. Let's say you bet the guy's a nuts. He wings it into the muck.
After showing you.
After showing me, I would not say a word because he didn't call. Let's say he calls, like tables one of his two cards that like is
No,
the
no, no.
ace of the
Listen,
muck.
but
let's
that's
say he
wrong.
calls, I table my hand, and he
And then he
thinks
mucks.
that my hand's the winner. And
I
then-
wouldn't say anything. I would say nothing.
Okay, so then
I
what?
would say
I don't
nothing.
understand your argument. then.
Yeah,
same thing.
you're not arguing
Because-
anything then.
The
You would
difference
say
in
something. You know that he made a
did say
mistake. and
something.
folded
You
it.
No chance he would. He would absolutely
literally
say
say
something.
something.
the difference in the pot with the 8-9 of hearts versus like this other situation is that I could see both cards and I knew the guy made an action.
Okay, I
Right.
have the nut flush, and he has a straight flush, but doesn't realize he has a straight flush. I show the nut flush, and he fires his hand in the muck. And now
After showing you.
right.
After showing you how unlucky
Well,
he got.
here's what would happen is I would see his hand. I would say like you have a straight flush. He fires it into the muck and
Why?
they can't pull.
You can't say he has a straight
They
flush.
can't pull it out of the muck, so you win.
Why
They
do you
can't
get
unmuck his
involved?
hand.
Yes,
you can't get involved anymore.
What if he
There's
doesn't?
no-
What if he
don't
doesn't
Say-
fire it into
you
the muck?
can't announce another player's hand. That's the dealer's
you
job.
You gotta mind your business.
Mind your
You
business.
can't announce his
I
hand.
wouldn't. I wouldn't deny his hand wouldn't count because it's in the muck.
No,
What if you say it before
no.
he mucks it?
First of
What if
all,
you
there's
stop it
casinos
from
around
mucking?
here.
Yeah.
There's casinos around here that if those two cards are visible,
they're
they're retrievable,
retrievable.
fuck out of the muck,
Retrievable is
and
the
then
word,
flipping them
yeah.
over.
Yeah, if they're retrievable, they can go into the muck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like if I had enough flush in that spot and someone had enough flush, or
Stop
flush,
equating it back to you. You're just pedestaling yourself,
Yeah.
putting yourself on a
Yeah.
moral soapbox. Like
Yeah.
that's not
no
the
soapbox. It's just the right thing to do.
No,
based
it's
off
not.
of what? Why?
No, it's not.
There are rules and constructs in this game. Table your fucking hand or
Yeah.
don't.
I'm
Yeah.
very moral.
That
This-
person
this
made
When
is
you
choice.
not
don't
this.
when you
Yeah.
don't table your hand, you're relinquishing the right to have people say, "Oh, you actually have something."
Yeah.
You know.
Right. He didn't table his hand because he didn't want the rest of the table to see what his hand was. So he's taking that advantage to not show his hand, and then there's consequences to that.
The moral of the story is if you have a flush, just table your fucking hand.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
All
You
right.
have a full house. If you have
I
a full
think-
house,
But
yeah,
that-
if you
that's
have a full
good.
house, table the hand.
But that is your
Don't
responsibility.
lean into the muck.
It's
Give
your
time to paperwork.
individual responsibility,
Table it.
and if you make a mistake and misread your hand, sorry,
If this
learn
saves
to
one
read your
person-
hand better, and you will lose less money.
If this just saves one person from mucking their hand when they have the winner at any time in the next future, you're welcome.
Don't worry,
Landon's
always
on a
show land in your
crusade.
hand, guys.
I'm done.
Thank
He's
you.
like, I can save him.
I'm not trying to save anyone.
Incredible.
Point is, Botez did nothing wrong.
Wait, that's how this shit started.
Botez is fine. Okay.
Botez
Man,
is
we can
indeed
go on
fun.
tangents.
All right. I'm hungry, guys. I'm
sorry.
same.
we got to get out of here.
Same.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed everything we had to say with this recent update on Ali, Bryn, and Jake. Again, we have dates announced for the Poker Out Loud Academy. That'll be happening at the end of August. I believe the dates are August 16th to 19th. I got the manager eyeballing me, making sure that we got
Lay
that.
manager.
You got it
Correct.
right. You got it right.
16th to the 19th. It's a 4-day academy, 2 days of theory, 2 days of gameplay. So you ultimately end up with about, call it 15 hours of gameplay, give or take, where you're playing Poker Out Loud style. So you'll be divulging your thoughts in real time. The first one went off without a hitch. Really, really happy with how it went. Very proud of how everybody presented themselves. If you guys are interested in seeing what that final product looks like, head over to solveforwhy.io and just sign up for the free roll access pass. It costs you nothing but an email. You'll be able to see the previous Academy footage. This is the most recent one in April that was Poker Out Loud style. So go ahead, check that out. If you would like to be a part of it, head over to academy.solveforwhy.io. There are 9 seats available, and we will be announcing more dates for the fall in short time. Same time tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck we're going to be talking about.
You think Live at the Bike comes back today? I wonder how that's gonna look.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay. What stakes are we looking at?
25-50.
Okay. Quarter 50 game today. Live
wonder-
stream.
Live stream. I told him I'm gonna watch and see if these lights are on.
It probably starts in 30 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, that's true. Start the 30 minutes.
So yeah, check that out. Christian's gonna be doing commentary this Friday at Live at the Bike. There's a good chance I may be playing if a seat's available. So maybe no pod Friday. We're not sure, but same time tomorrow. We'll have something to talk about for sure. And thank you guys as always for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us a little bit of love. See ya.
Peace.
Later.